Yes. Yes. Let's go! Alright, what's up guys? How are we all doing? It's good to be here again. It's finally August. And we have 69 days left. Nice. Who's excited? I'm excited. Not to see my face for Little Nightmares 3. Hello everybody, a lot of familiar faces in here. Saya, hope I can be here in time. I might be late. Hey, don't worry if you're late. Lily the cat, what's up kiddo? I'm glad you can make it. Des Langley, we got competition winners in the building already. What's up Altac? Puppy, hey, how are you doing today? Plan on tagging you in a video where my mum reacts to... that's awesome. Hey, tell your mum I said hi. Don't look too much into that. What did I do? My mum doesn't know a lot from Little Nightmares. Oh, shut up phone. No, now is not the time. I'm talking to my audience. Oh, and I haven't greeted you yet. Welcome, foolish mortals, to another random theory crafting live stream where we're just going to have some fun today and yap, if that's okay with you. How's everybody doing? Are we all alright? Also, a quick sound check. You know, can you hear me? Am I too loud? Is music too loud? It should all be fine because I haven't changed anything since the last time I was here. The only difference is my office has recently been painted, so I had to strip down all of my acoustic foam from the walls because I've got like that's everywhere in this room. That you can't see, but sadly, this wall on this side is no longer covered, so there might be a very, very slight echo. You shouldn't notice, but I am noticing, but I suppose I would. But yeah, how are we all doing? What's up, Tiny? How you doing? It is technically evening for me. It's 7 p.m. How are you? Mutter Steak, how you doing? What's up, Kip? How's it going? Counter Curse is in. Counter Curse was first in. Welcome, Counter Curse. Faceless Art and Skills, what's up? How you doing? Harley YouTube Poop. Just dropping in with an excellent name. Thank you. Daniel Nikolai Plugaroo, hello there. How are you? I'm expecting you. And I'm expecting Steph as well, but Steph did tell me that they were going to be a little bit late today. So I'm not expecting Steph for another like 20 minutes or so. And that's okay. People have lives outside of my live streams, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how life works. Can we make a truce between us, Gemini? What are you thinking, Francis? What kind of truce do you need? Good day, fellow little ones. What's up, Mal? How you doing? Nintendo Gamer Kid, hey! I think Low and Alone will break their time loop. After all, a spiral does end. I suppose it does, really. But which end? Are they going to end by escaping from it? Or are they going to spiral into it? Which way is it going to go to break? What's up, Arrow? How you doing? So excited for Little Nightmares 3 and definitely the Descent to Nowhere comic book. And speaking of that, my BF pre-ordered the first issue. Oh, there you go, WBF. Good job. Right, that guy's a keeper. He's done something right. Hey, I pre-ordered mine as well. Very, very excited to see it. I just wish it wasn't so far away. It seems like I've got to wait forever for this kind of stuff. But as is life. What's up, KR? How's it going? How are you and Mama Gem doing? We're doing okay. We're coping all right. Mama Gem's still smiling, as she always does. She's tough as old boots, so you know how it be. Thank you so much for asking about my mum. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. As for me, I've had a bit of unfortunate news, but it's nothing like, you know... it's I don't know. It's not exactly life-altering. I'll share it with you guys in a little bit because it is stressing me out, and it might affect you guys in a very, very moderate way. Like, it's not like you're all gonna suffer because my life sucks. No, it's not like that. But you know, something came up recently that is going to throw a bit of a spanner into my works that I will explain to you guys before long. But that's not what this stream is all about. We're here to discuss Little Nightmares and just have a conversation and be a community and chill. Gemini, I can't wait for you to see mine and Steph's. I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited. I've actually got it. Steph sent it to me. He sent me the collaborative theory slideshow that I'm going to go through live today, actually, because I'm going to be here for a couple hours. Now, I always say this. I pretty much always say this isn't going to be a very long stream because I've got loads to do. I do have loads to do. I have work tonight. I have to go straight onto a conference call after this stream, and I'm just waiting for messages. Actually, why I've got my phone on the desk. It's not usually there. But if the phone rings, I absolutely have to answer it because it's work and they're paying me. So I have a conference call after the stream. So it might not be the longest stream, but I'm still going to aim for around 2 hours to give everybody a chance to get in and say their piece, because that's the idea of this stream. You guys will have read my community post recently where I exuded there would be a sense of urgency in that if you know something, or if you think you know something, you have a theory, a thought, an observation, or a prediction about Little Nightmares 3, and you haven't told anyone, you haven't written it down, you haven't publicised it, and then it comes true, you'll be like, oh my god, I called it! And they're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Prove it. Video or it didn't happen. So that's the idea of this stream is, if you guys have theories and predictions about Little Nightmares 3, feel free to share them, and I will try and read as many as I can and get through them and address them in real time. And then that way, if it does happen to be that your theory was correct and you predicted like the ending or something like that, then we'll know that you did it first, because there is video evidence, because I will have the chat on screen. Well, it won't necessarily be on screen, but it will be, you know, side by side with the video itself. Arrow, yes, I couldn't agree more. The Reanimal trailer looks dope. I watched it on Just George's live stream yesterday with the THQ Nordic reveal, and wow, god damn, that looks good. It looks absolutely incredible. I'm very, very excited for Reanimal. It's going to be such a game. What's up, Shayla? How's it going? Thank you very much for that confirmation. Appreciate it. A&H, hey Gemini, have you seen the new Reanimal trailer? Yes, yeah, I did. I watched it yesterday. Absolutely incredible. What's up, Alta, Kip? Familiar faces. It's great to see so many familiar faces, but it's also good to see some of you new guys as well. Also, if you know anybody that likes Little Nightmares but doesn't know me, feel free to share this stream. Something I've been trying to do recently is try to expand this community beyond the scope of what we already have, because I feel like it's going somewhere. I feel like the channel is going somewhere, and I feel like this community is going somewhere. And I've had a conversation with a lot of like other streamers, other YouTubers, and other content creators and things like that, and they all agree that this community aspect, you know, this live stream thing, it really has legs. It's really something that not only do I enjoy, but I think you guys do as well. Like, people get genuinely excited for it, and I don't know if you guys are really excited for these live streams because they're so rare, or just because you like being here. Like, if I was to do these regularly, if I did like one a week or something like that, rather than one a month, would that be better or not? Like, would you, in fact, I might make that a poll in a little bit, but just have a think on that. Would you prefer more frequent live streams like this? You know, where we interact, where I'll think of stuff to do. It won't literally just be my face yapping the whole time. I will actually think of like ways we can play games and interact together and let you become involved and things like that. I'll have to look into it, but if you guys have got any ideas for me, or if it's something you would like to see more of, please let me know. You know, like, or is it just the fact that these are really exciting because it's like a once a month thing? Because I feel like if they were too regular, they wouldn't be as exciting. But that's just a theory. A game theory! I need to prepare my heart for Little Nightmares 3 because I think Lone Alone will get separated in some way. I do too. And I think that's what the DLC will be about. I think in the Secrets of the Spiral DLC, Lone Alone will get separated, and we might even be introduced to other characters because of the emphasis Bandai and Supermassive have put on cooperative gameplay. So if the DLC separates Lone Alone, it still needs to give player 2 a character to play as. So it could be that Law ends up in one area and Alone ends up in the other, but they meet other people, like other visitors who the other player or the AI companion can take control of. during that scenario. It would be nice to see 6 in one of those. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure they've, like, you know, stapled it in concrete that it's like 6 is not going to be in this game. But wouldn't it be cool if she was? But it doesn't have to be 6. It could be noon, right? Because it's like a similar timeline, or at least a similar part of the nowhere where this all takes place, with some familiar enemies and environments and stuff. So we might see noon. I want to be unbanned off the TV Squad and Notorious Bases channel. Please talk to them. Francis, yes, I will speak to Mr. Tibbs and the Notorious Base. Unfortunately, I am no authority over their channel or their content, and any grievances that they have with you might have to be taken up with them, but absolutely, I will speak to them for you, my friend. It won't be a problem. I'll message them and I'll put in your request and everything and see if they'd be prepared to do that, but I can't force them to. But I will ask, absolutely. Kit Kat Catsy, Gemini, if you have time, I'd love you to check out a song that me and my friend Timsy created as a theme song about me and my YouTube channel. All I want you to check it out as I mention you in there. Oh, Dove, that's cool. Thank you so much. Hey, I get a mention. I get a shout out in a music video. Yeah, Catsy, I will absolutely check that out. It might not be in this stream, but I will absolutely look into it and see. Because obviously, if I get mentioned, I want to see it, right? To be fair, I'd want to see it anyway. Wait. Stop, chat. Stop. Not you, stop, chat. I mean, my screen stopped moving. It keeps jumping when I'm trying to read. Yes, W step. Absolutely. Hey, Gemini, just want to thank you for these streams because I've been feeling a bit lonely and your streams make me smile. Ow, that hit me. God damn. You are welcome. Funnily enough, I had this conversation with a very dear friend of mine, a Notorious Base, last night. He's a Resident Evil he's a horror YouTuber, and he specialises in Resident Evil. He's actually a world record holding Resident Evil player, and we had a conversation last night about why we do what we do. You know, like, because I love this. I was talking about this stream and how I look forward to them. I don't have any apprehensions about going live anymore because I know that it's something I enjoy and I get to have fun with. And when the Notorious Base goes live, it's more difficult because his runs are extremely challenging. And it makes it difficult for him to communicate with his audience and really build a community aspect because he's so focused on breaking world records every time he has to go live. And I don't have that. And the reason I started doing YouTube was because I was in a very similar situation to yourself, where I was lonely. And lonely isn't the right word. I was miserable. I was unhappy. It wasn't that I was lonely. I don't get lonely. Physically, I don't know what lonely feels like. But by which I mean I was on my own. And I was unhappy. Not because I was alone, but because the world was just a really negative place at the time. I was going through a lot of negative stuff. And I tuned in to YouTube for the first time. And I started watching Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. And very much like I am to you guys, they became the long-distance friend that I needed. The person I could always depend on to be there whenever I needed them to make me laugh and make me smile and give me something wholesome and make me feel like I had a friend in my darkest moments. And the fact that I have got to do that for you really, really makes me feel really good because that's what I wanted. I didn't start YouTube because I thought it would make money at all. It doesn't. Still, I didn't start YouTube because it would make me famous or anything like that. I started doing YouTube because I like the idea of being that person. I like the idea of building a community that you can be there for and make happy and share in something that you hold dear to you. For me, it happens to be Little Nightmares. For them, it was gaming. For me, it was gaming. Like, I literally followed in their footsteps. When I started YouTube, like 5 years ago, I was gaming. I wasn't doing theory videos. Little Nightmares had like only just come out, or at least Little Nightmares 2 was about to come out when I started. But yeah, anyway, off topic, that means a lot to me. And if any of you guys feel the same way, that means more to me than anything you could ever donate. Because the fact that I have a a significant impact on you emotionally, that is what counts for me as far as YouTube goes, because I really want to be that guy. So you are welcome, Daniel. Absolutely welcome. Steph, I've seen you comment on my brother's Thrillers videos and... Ooh. Sorry, I did read your comment, Faceless, but I'm looking for Steph, and I can't see him on my chat list. But either way, no worries. Have you seen the trailer for Pinata Puppy World? No, I haven't, KR. I haven't seen that. Counter Curse, yes. Reanimal's sound design is peak. It's I nearly swore then. Shouldn't really do that. But it's incredible. It really is. I know a lot of you guys don't really care if I swear or not, but I try not to because YouTube doesn't like it. When I tell people I predicted 6 would drop mono, people don't believe it. Yeah, exactly, Kip. This is what I'm talking about. You can be certain. Like, you can predict stuff, you can know stuff, and it's like headcanon to you, but you can't substantiate it, or at least you don't feel like you can, or you feel like people might laugh. But then it comes true. You know, you get like a mad twist like that. Like 6 eating the gnome. Is like, oh my god, I knew it. It's like, but did you though? Did you know? And did you tell anyone? Because if you didn't tell anyone, you've got no proof. That's why these streams are important, because like I can literally go back to times when I've said, you know, I think the supervisor's on wheels. And if it turns out she is, it's like, I called it. And, you know, the candy factory thing. When they confirmed that it was a candy factory, I figured that out months before it was revealed, sort of thing. As did a lot of you guys, but that was my first ever theory video, that's why I'm using it as a thing. So when you have theories, it's important that you get them out there, as ludicrous as they sound, and they can be outlandish, but that's why you try and substantiate them. Sometimes you need help doing that. Some people have a really great idea about the Nowhere, or the Little Nightmares universe, or the direction of the games in general, but they lack the means to articulate it. You know, they might not have the words to put into context a script of exactly what you think will happen. You just have a feeling. But honestly, it's worth sitting down and taking the time to like comb through it and figure out if your theory does make sense, at least from some angle, because something else about the Nowhere that I think is really important, and I said this to another good friend of mine, Mr. Tibbs, yesterday. Theory videos are great because when it comes to the Nowhere, theorizing is largely based in fact. You have to be able to substantiate the evidence with facts and things that take place in real life. You use real life aspects or real life scenarios to explain your theory and why you believe it. But the Nowhere doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to, right? It's ambiguous for a reason, which means that we have endless possibilities, because even if it doesn't make any sense on the surface, in the Nowhere, in the world of Little Nightmares, it can make perfect sense if. And you've got to figure out what that if is, and whether or not that if ties into some existing law that you can substantiate. And it's just loads of fun. God, I love theorizing. I love Little Nightmares. Will you do any Reanimal theories? Quite possibly, Puppy. I probably will, yeah. Honestly, I'm not as excited for Reanimal as I am for Little Nightmares, but I'm biased because Little Nightmares is my favourite game. And I know that Reanimal is not... it's very similar to Little Nightmares, but they're not based in the same universe, and they don't follow the same law, or even the same rules. So, I don't know how good I'll be at Reanimal theories, but if it's something you guys want to see, because I'm definitely going to play the game, and I'm definitely going to do some research on it and try and understand it, because there will be some like obscurities in there that are worthy of merit, and I'm excited to look into it. I'm even more excited to play it, but whether or not I make theory videos on it depends on whether or not I think they're good. Like, if my theory carries any weight. I feel like I am in a position to theorize about Little Nightmares because I have a very intricate knowledge of it. Because that's all I ever do. I play the game, I research the game, I read the comics, I listen to the podcast practically every day. And if I was to try and push a theory towards you guys and say, hey, this is a new game, Reanimal, this is my theory about it, and this is why it makes sense, I would have to understand that game and its lore just as well as I understand Little Nightmares. And it's taken me years to get to this point where I understand Little Nightmares as well and as intricately as I do. But never say never, right? You do get excited. I'm glad, Tiny. I'm glad that you get excited when I go live. I just wasn't sure if it's something that you get excited for because I don't do it very much. Like if I did it every single day, would it still be fun? Like, would you still want to do it, or would it just like, you know, would it run dry and we'd run out of things to talk about and you just get sick of hearing my voice and seeing my face? I see law being a thematic arrow to shoot through the eye of a loop of the loop plaguing everyone else. Sorry, I'm trying to make sense of that because I think I think I read that with the wrong inflection, and now I just have a picture of I've just got an image of Law shooting the monster baby in the eye. Oh, what's up, Steph? There you are. Hello. Hey, Clamori. How's it going? I'm glad you're all right. Well, I don't know if you're all right, but I'm glad you're here. Love to see more streams from you. Look forward to your streams. Love your content and seeing how you interact with you, my friend. And that's the truth. Love to see more. Thank you, Katsy. I appreciate that. Gemini, I have a theory that Dark Six isn't Six's whole soul, and we see that Six can show kindness actively to what. Daniel, you know what? So do I. I'm writing a theory video right now that is surrounding the nature of Dark Six and what she really is and what she really represents, and I think you're going to find it really interesting. I might allude to that a little bit more as this stream goes on, but I don't have all of the details, and you know me, I like to really comb through everything so that I don't slip up, because the worst thing you can do in a theory video is use something as evidence that doesn't make sense, because everyone will catch that. At least all of you guys will. All of you veterans and OGs and like hyper-fixated fans like me will pick up on that. And it sucks because just one little thing can disprove your theory, but bear with me on that. And it might even be something you and I discuss. Honestly, I think the DLC will be a prequel. That'd be interesting, Puppy. That'd be really cool to see if the DLC actually takes place before the game. That'd be... Because... You know what? You're onto something. You might be onto something, Puppy. It was you last time that made me stop like this as well. So, Puppy Queen has just said there that she thinks that the DLC will be a prequel. Now, do you guys recall, a couple of streams ago, I combed through the trailer, but like a lot of the trailers for Little Nightmares 3, and in some of those, Law is alone. As in, not he's alone, he's by himself. Law is walking through the necropolis on his own, and then he runs into Alone there. And it's like, are they reconvening? You know, like, is that where they've met up again after being separated, or is that the first time they ever meet? Is the DLC going to be a prequel which shows how he got to the necropolis where they meet in the first place? That is a distinct possibility, and it's a shame we don't have more footage to come through to prove that, but we definitely do see Law by himself in the trailer. And we do see what looks like their first ever interaction, but with no context. It's hard to know if it's their first ever reaction, or if it's just or if it's just them rendezvousing. You know, like they find each other again after being separated midway. So I'm not sure, but it definitely could be a prequel. And I'm glad you said that on this live stream, because if you said that, if you believe that and it turns out to be true, you called it. You called it first, and I'll shout that out. I'll make a big deal about that, because I'll be like, I knew it, but I didn't know it first. You did. And you'll get the credit for that. That's why it's important to share these theories. Well done. Well done. That's really thought-provoking. I like that a lot. Excellent. Shazamir, we haven't been teased the end boss for 3, although we're told pretty quickly the 1 and 2, even very little nightmares about the Lady, the Thin Man and the Pretender. I think the boss is going to be a big reveal. I agree, because it seems like it should be really obvious, right? Everyone's saying that it's the Mirror Man. It's got to be the Mirror Man. Surely it's the Mirror Man. And they are right. It makes sense for it to be the Mirror Man on so many levels. But why the secrecy? Is it because it's so obvious that it's like, well, obviously it's the Mirror Man, so we don't have to, like... Or are they being intentionally obscure because it's not the Mirror Man, it's something else? I agree with you that it's going to be a big reveal. Honestly, I'd be happy if it's the Mirror Man, but I think I'll be even happier if it's something else. If it's something completely different that we didn't expect. Yeah, I'd love to play as Noon as well, Tiny. Or at least have her in the game at some, on some level as like an Easter egg. But yeah, playing as Noon would be brilliant. And I'd really like to see her design as well. I really want to see, because I've seen loads of artists' renditions of what they think Noon could look like. And they're brilliant. And there is like a pretty consistent look for Noon. Like if I say, imagine what Noon looks like, you've all got a pretty similar image in your minds, right? But it's largely because some of the earliest artists drew concepts for Noon that a lot of you have come to associate with her. But it might be that she looks completely different to that. We're just using our imagination. I'd really like to see Noon. They said that 6 wouldn't be in Little Nightmares 3, but they never said anything about a DLC. That's true, Gaius. That is absolutely true. They didn't, because she won't be in the main game, but what if she's in the DLC? And what if it's a prequel? And yeah, absolutely. Countercuts, maybe just a little more, like 2 or 3 times a month. However, I do think if you add more virality, as 3 lost streams a month could be a little bit still. I agree, Countercuts, and this is my thing, is what we do is a lot of fun, and there's always loads to discuss, and there's a lot of you to talk to, and so many things to consider. But that's because if you go a month without talking to somebody, and then you meet up with them, it's like, hey, what's been going on? You've got 30 days worth of material to discuss with that person. But if you talk to that person every day, it's like, hey, what's going on? Nothing. It's like, what's changed since yesterday? Nothing. It runs dry. So I agree that if we were to go live more frequently, we would have to do more intricate streams. Not just like conversations like this. We would obviously do stuff where I react to videos, or maybe we react to stuff together. But I was thinking of stuff where we play... I don't know. This is something that came to me the other day that I thought was fun. I was inspired by another creator called Doug. I don't know if you guys know who Doug is, but I've just discovered him recently, and Doug is incredible. He makes me laugh so much, and he interacts with his Twitch chat, because he's a Twitch streamer, but he uploads videos to YouTube after they've been edited thoroughly. And it's excellent. He's very, very good and very entertaining. But I love the way he interacts with his audience, but he doesn't just sit talking to them. He lets them get involved in the stream. And I feel like that's something that we could do together, because there's enough of us here for you guys to really interact and make a difference to the stream in real time as it happens. So we could play games together, we could do quizzes together, we could react to videos together, and things like that. And I could even give you guys control over certain things. That was actually why I put out a poll recently about what you guys think of my OC residents that I've been using for the Little Nightmares speculative DLC videos that I've been making, and what you guys thought. They were all drawn by Propimol, by the way. Like, I drew the original concepts and I came up with the designs and the ideas, but Propimol is responsible for that artwork, and I didn't cite that in the poll. And I noticed that just about an hour ago when I was going through comments under that video, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't shout out Propimol, because she drew those. She drew them, and she deserves all the credit in the world for drawing them. They are my designs, my ideas, and my concepts, but she drew the artwork, and she deserves the credit for that. I just woke up and you started streaming. That's crazy. Hey, well, good morning, Clamori. I don't even know if it's morning. You could have slept in. So, like, I will literally sleep at the weirdest times, because sometimes I work overnight. Like tonight, I start working like 2-3 hours. Yeah, about 3 hours I start work, and I'm going to be there until like 6 a.m. So if I want to sleep tonight, I'm probably going to sleep through until like midday. So when I wake up first thing in the morning, it'll actually be like, 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What's up, Steph? I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad you're here. Hello there. Zachary J. No, you didn't really miss anything. You did miss a banger of a theory by Puppy Queen, though, about the DLC being a prequel. But I don't think you actually missed that. I think I'm just super late to your comment. I honestly believe the Councillor might be the end boss. That would be really cool if Otto was in there. Especially if Noon is going to be tied to the DLC, then it would be really cool for Otto to make a reappearance and see Noon's reaction to seeing what becomes of Otto when he comes to the Nowhere, because they become like warped facsimiles of what they were in real life, the residents, apparently. So it's like if an adult is brought to the Nowhere by whatever entity feeds the Spectrum's other end, they're brought in as themselves, but they immediately change into something worse. It still has their own qualities, but I think they're warped and extorted thousands of times over to make them like really like over exaggerated versions of what they were in real life, like the teacher. And there's that she might have been an awful teacher and an awful person in real life, so when she comes to the Nowhere, she becomes the absolute worst kind of teacher, the most frightening, nightmarish kind of teacher. Same with the Doctor. He comes to the Nowhere and he becomes the most frightening and despicable kind of Doctor. You get what I mean? What's up, GKS? I'm glad you can make it. I'm sorry to hear that you've been having some issues with your internet recently, but don't worry too much about it. I just thought I would say hi. I'm really glad that you're able to pop in and say hello. GKS, I was actually hoping to speak to you about some content that I was thinking about recently, because I could do with somebody with your artistic prowess, particularly when it comes to drawing and when it comes to, more so when it comes to sculpting. Because I was going to ask and see if you would be kind enough to sculpt something for me. Just let me know in the chat real quick if that's something you would be interested in doing, because if it is, then it's something we'll discuss, and I think it's something that these guys would like to see as well. Let's go. You got pizza. Yeah, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, exactly. Yeah, the top two. I hope you can hear your mention in the song as it's sung where, as the way it's sung and your name is pronounced, you can miss it, but I hope you can hear it. And yeah, I'm sure I will. Don't you worry, Catty. I will be looking out for it, especially. Also, Gemini, my real name is Edward, by the way. Well, hello, Edward. Oh, Eddie. Yeah, of course. That's why Steph said you're called Eddie. Because I actually have Steph's theories up on my screen at the moment, and it says your name. It says featuring J.K. Mal and Daniel Nikolai Plugaroo, 1788, aka Eddie. So hello, Eddie. Also, if you guys haven't already smashed the like button for me, please consider doing it. Or the dislike button if you hate my face. You're under no obligation to like the stream, but engaging with it really helps it to get out there and reach other people that might be interested. And of course, I would love to expand this community and interact with more like-minded people like your very good selves. Hi, it's storming so hard. Right, where are you, Runaway Cobra? I mean, don't dox yourself, but just like a rough idea. Like, whereabouts are you? Because right here in the UK, it's blazing sunshine. Like, it's really sunny here. Well, not in the UK in its entirety, but in the small part of the UK where I live, it's really sunny and warm. I'm sorry that you're undergoing some nasty damage. There was a tornado in my town last week, which was kind of frightening. It was like, oh crap, because we don't really get those here either. It's a rarity. It's a real anomaly for us to get like seriously violent weather. But over the last couple of years, we've had some pretty dangerous stuff going on. At least for our part of the world. Not even remotely close to the comparisons that have been drawn in, like, the off the coast of the United States and Russia. There was a category 8.8 earthquake that triggered tsunami warnings all the way across the coast of the United States. Nothing major came of it, I don't think, at least from my recollection. But then, like, the next day there was like a volcanic eruption from like the tallest volcano on Earth, and I'm like, the world's ending. I knew it. I called it. I said it first. Maybe just yeah, sorry. What's up, Hazza? How you doing? I'm glad you can make it. I haven't seen you in a stream for a while. It's good to see you, though. Opening his third eye when making Little Nightmares 3 predictions. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I need one of those. I bet the comics with Mono will explain why he tries so hard to save 6. I think he might feel guilty for what happens to Hush. Oh no! No, I like Hush! I don't want anything to happen to Hush. I think something will, but no! Thank you for being our friend and Little Nightmares resource, Gem. Not sure what you're going through yet, but I hope you can heal, or at least it's able to manage. Thank you, KR. I appreciate that. I will actually... what's up, Wilbur? How are you doing? I will actually touch on that real quick right now, but I don't want to dwell on it because, number one, it'll piss me off, and number two is it's not something that I really want to, you know, harp on about or make a big deal out of or make you guys feel like you have to be a part of. It's just something that's happening in my life at the moment that's difficult, and the only reason it might affect you is because it might affect the amount of content I can make moving forwards, at least in the short term. So I am moving. I'm moving house. I have to. Because sadly I don't own my house. And the gentleman that does own my house has decided he wants to sell it. And the people he's selling it to want to live in it. Which is fine, because and there's no malicious intent. This isn't me having a dig at my landlord. Oh, this son of a bitch, he's selling my home. You know, it's... No. He owns a house, he wants to retire, and there is a lovely couple who want to purchase this property and live in it. And it's a lovely house, and I would want to live in it too. And if I had the money, I'd buy it myself, but I don't. So he's selling it, and that's going to require me to move. Sadly, they need to move in as soon as possible, like ASAP, as in the next couple of months. So I have been asked very kindly to pack up and move. And because I didn't see it coming, I have nowhere to go. So this office and my house and everything like that, I'm going to have to find somewhere that I can set this up comfortably and continue to work like this. And as you might imagine, moving house and getting everything set up and changing my environment and everything is jarring, and it's going to be difficult, and it might mean that I have to put a lot of projects on hold while it's happening, because I wasn't aware. Well, I was aware that he was selling the property, but there was a complication with the contract and everything. Whereas, as far as I was concerned, I had another 15 months left. But because of the situation, and me and the landlord have talked about it, it's not going to be 15 months anymore. It's going to be 2. So, yeah, and it sucks, and I'm very sad because I've spent the last half a decade turning this into my home. I built a shelf, and I'm very house proud, and I love being here, and it's so ideal for me, and I am very, very reluctant to move, but I have no choice. So that's all I'll say on the matter. It sucks, but I have to swallow it, and the only reason it's going to affect you guys is because I may go radio silent for a while because I have to move. So I do apologise for that, and I apologise if I'm a bit more difficult to communicate with regard to theories and collaborations and content moving forward. But that's all. That's all that's going on. It's not it's the end of the world. It's just a lot. It's a lot to process when I have so much other stuff going on. Of course, you guys know about my mum and her cancer treatment and all the rest of it. And it sucks because it's a lot of juggle. And as you might imagine, it's a very emotional time to have something so heavy thrown at you all of a sudden. But that's life, and I'm not going to sit here and preach like I'm the only one with problems. Each and every one of you has stuff going on, so that's that. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I will fix it, but if I'm quiet, that's why. Okay? So, sorry, where were we? I feel like Little Nightmares 3 is going to be another prequel. Tiny said it first. If Little Nightmares 3 happens to be a prequel of a prequel, because we know that Little Nightmares 2 was a prequel, but we're not sure if Little Nightmares 3 is going to be one. Jod, Gemini and Jod are the game theory Little Nightmares. Thank you, Puppy Queen. That means a lot to me, because game theory are the pinnacle, aren't they? When you think about theorists on YouTube, you think game theory, you think MatPat, you think Lee, you think the team theorists, don't you? So to have me even remotely close to being compared to those is a massive W for me. Thank you. Sonia, I think this is controversial, but I think all the Little Nightmares comics are just forms of artistic creativity, and I don't think they have lore relevance. That is very interesting, because something that was tweeted a long time ago by the developers was that the children in the comics who tell the stories that they share that we get to read are unreliable narrators, meaning that we can't necessarily trust their side of events. And while it might be true from their perspective, it might not be what actually happened. It's just what they think they saw. So it could be that the entirety of those comics is just the warped, distorted imaginations of the children in the nowhere as it takes hold of them. So yeah, you are right. It could be that the comics have very little influence, or at least what happens in them isn't necessarily canon. I mean, it's canon to the franchise, but it's not canon to the timeline, if you get what I mean. I love your streams, Gemini. Your enthusiasm and awesomeness and general excitement is infectious and helps me feel so much better, especially if I've had a stressful day. Thank you, Catsy. Again, I really, really love it when I'm able to impact you guys in a positive way, because I know a lot of these streams is literally just me yapping and us not making any real progress with anything, but I think that is a large part of the value of doing stuff like this. Engaging with your audience and communicating with people on a personal level while you can as a content creator or a person of influence of any description is important. And you of all people recognise that, Catsy, because I've been in your streams, and the way you interact with your audience with thought and kindness, and your audience actually relate to you really, really well on a personal level, where they talk to you like they're your friends and they know you in real life. And that's a level that a lot of creators could aspire to. Don't get me wrong, there should always be an arm's length connection between you and your audience. I'm not saying you guys are great, you should all come over to my house, because that's just dangerous, right? And it's weird. But having a connection where you feel like these people understand you and relate to you on that level, you obviously get that as a creator yourself, and I get that. But I feel like it's important, and it's lost a lot on creators these days who are literally, they don't respond to comments, they don't engage with their audience. I understand not a lot of them can, especially the bigger creators, but when I see smaller creators that make absolutely zero effort to engage with the people that love what they do, it appears kind of rude to me. But that's just my opinion anyway. My opinion doesn't count for anything. Everyone's entitled to conduct themselves as they please, but it's just not the way I choose to do it. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit so I can catch up, because I've seen there is donos coming in and I want to know who did it. Alison Twitter, I knew it. I knew it was going to be you. How did I know it was going to be you? Hope your mum is well. Lots of love for Mama Gem. You have already told me about your financial situation. You need to be careful, woman. You've been told, but thank you very much, and Mama Gem will say thank you very much as well, but she'd also tell you off if she knew. And she will know, because I'm going to tell her that I don't lie to my mum. Hey Gemini, I hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Alison, I really appreciate it. Say the Gemini Rage compilation. Yes. Does anyone do a Little Nightmares themed Gartic phone after the stream? I don't know what that is. I do apologise. But if anyone does, hit up Puppy Queen. Kip, what if the Little Nightmares 3 boss is Otto, but he got consumed by the nowhere? I just made this up 2 seconds ago, but I'm saying because what if it comes out? Exactly, Kip, exactly. That's why. If the thought comes to you and you don't get it out there, then yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing. What if it is? What if it is? And how... Okay, while you're still on that thought process, why? Why do you think that's a thing? Do you believe that the DLC will have something to do with it? Do you have any evidence to support it? And if you don't, and if you're just having fun with thought experiments, what do you think he'll look like? What do you think his environment will be like? Because if we know that they become distorted warped facsimiles of what they used to be in real life, then we already know who Otto was, and we already know what Otto was about. So we can probably develop a really good understanding of what kind of resident he would turn into if he made his way to the nowhere. And I'd love to see that conceptualized. I'd actually love to create one myself. In fact, I might. That might be the next thing. I think I might put up a post. What do you guys think of this idea? Artists in the chat, theorists in the chat, like content creators in the chat, or even just people, any one of you with any kind of creative process going on in your mind right now, and I know that's a great deal of you, I want you to consider what Otto would become if he was pulled into the nowhere. Imagine what he'd look like, imagine what his environment would be like, imagine his personality. Like, as far as the nowhere goes, bear in mind that it will warp and distort him, and Otto is a pretty messed up dude. So, what do we think he'd turn out like? I want you to consider that. And you don't have to put it here and now. You can if you want to, because that's the idea of the stream. But if it's something that you would like to draw up, or sculpt, or draw a 3D render of in Blender, or something, or even just write a story about, write a description of, or something. However you want to do it, feel free to do that, and I'd like you to share them with me. Be that on Discord, or in the next stream, or you know, in any other way, or send them to me via email. If you want to do that, please do, because I would absolutely love to see it. What do you guys think of that? Because if you guys do it, I'll do it too. Because I have an imagination, believe it or not, and I would like to use it to do something like that. What's up, Rowdy Rex? How you doing? I'm glad you're here. Hope we learn if there's a ferryman for adults. I think there is a ferryman for adults, but I don't know what it is. I don't think it'll be called the ferryman, but it could be an entity, like it could be the North Wind. But you know, that's I'm only using the North Wind as an idea because he's the only other character that we've seen that interacts with the ferryman that seems to be opposed to him, and the North Wind is exceedingly powerful. So it's like there's got to be some kind of there's got to be some kind of link there. It doesn't have to be the North Wind, but there is something that feeds the spectrums of the Rend. The ferryman said that himself, but what could it be? Steph, where is that Gemini Rage compilation we've been waiting for? You need to see me angry for a bit first, Puppy. And I promise you don't want to see that. I was thinking of making a YouTube channel focusing on Little Nightmares and Reanimal. It'll probably be called Crouch, because that is a child character concept idea I have. What do you think? I think that's brilliant, ANH. I'd really like to see whatever content you make, and I'd really like to see your OC, because I think creativity, as far as the Little Nightmares universe goes, having OC characters, that's one of my favourite things to do. Since starting the speculative DLC series last year, creating character concepts, whether it be visitors, residents, areas in general, environments that, you know, like branches of the nowhere, all of that has become like my favourite thing to do. And it's just so much fun. In fact, I just completed one the other day, and it's fully realised, like the concept is complete, and I've shown very, very few people it. I think there's only 3 people in the world who know what this creature is and what it looks like at the moment, and I would like to share it with you guys, and I will, but first we have to hit the goal. And I know that's only there for a reason, but that when we hit those goals, it helps me with regard to YouTube. I found out YouTube like it when that happens. So although I am very grateful and I really appreciate it, I usually just put the goals up there for fun, and then try and give you guys a reward for donating and being kind, because all that money goes towards my mum. What I didn't realise is it actually helps boost me with YouTube as well, because YouTube are like, this guy's got an audience who actually like what he does. So it helps me in a lot of ways, so thank you so much. And if we get 3 more, doesn't matter how much they are, if we get 3 more super chats, I'll show you that character concept, because it's finished. It's done. It will be canon. Yes, big W's for Alison in the chat. Steph, I'm currently editing a collab video with Dr. Nightmare, the 1000th vid on the channel. Holy crap, 1,000 videos. God damn, you've been busy. He will show me his Rec Room project that he worked on for years, replicating Little Nightmares in Rec Room. That would be so cool, Steph. I'm really excited to see that. And tell Dr. Nightmare that I'm really excited to see it as well. Ferryman says he can only guide children. So yes, exactly, Shazameh. That's absolutely right. Hey, what's up, Splat? How you doing? I hope you're doing alright. Jason Ryan is in the chat as well. What's up? Oh, look at the Catsy crew. We got the Catsy crew raiding Gem chat. Yeah, that's another thing as well. I was curious what I should call you guys, because I call you my viewers, and that was unintentional. You know, I'm not trying to say that you guys are all a faceless collective of soul-sucking psychopaths that just watch TV all day until a child happens to walk into the room and then you devour them. But I just call you viewers because that's what you are, and I don't like using the term fans because not everyone that watches me is a fan. Not everybody likes me. Some of the people that watch my videos don't actually like me. They like what I do. You know, they like the video, but they don't like me. And that's okay. That's totally fine. I'm not saying, you have to like me if you like my content. No, you don't. You absolutely don't. You could hate watch me all you want. That's fine. My point is that... I've forgotten my point now because I got sidetracked because I just noticed GKS is back. Anyway, yeah, I'll move on. I will get back to that. No, that was it. That was it. What do we call you guys? Because I call you viewers. I don't like calling you fans, but I also don't like using the word chat because I'm not that young. So, using words like chat and skibbity don't really suit me. So I'm like, I don't really know if I want to call them chat either. But saying viewers sounds a little bit stale. So I don't know what I call you guys. Apart from little ones. I suppose I'm old enough to get away with calling you guys children also. Because I'm pretty sure I'm older than all of you. Because I'm like 150 years old. Well, hello Catsy crew and welcome to the stream. Those of you that are new, please consider subscribing and smashing that like button for me if you like listening to me yap about Little Nightmares or just interacting with me in general. It's great to have you all here because I know that Catsy has very wholesome streams and a very good community aspect to them, so it's really good to see you guys here. Right, what did you say, GKS? Oh, Gemini. Unfortunately, I've ran out of sculpting wire for the moment, but I would defo be able to sculpt something that doesn't require much of it. I'll send you a message in DMs. Yes, thank you, GKS. Don't worry, there's no pressure, and it's not like, I need this now, immediately, work for me. There's no pressure at all. It's just, if you'd be good enough to do it, I'd like to send you a concept that I'd really like to see a sculpture of, and I'd really like to feature it in an upcoming video where I will be sharing a lot of viewers' artwork, because viewers send me artwork quite frequently and I love it. And with the comics coming out recently and some of my finished concepts being done now, I feel like I can share them with you guys and have more concepts made, you know, more drawings and more artwork and more fan art and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm excited for it. So no pressure, don't worry. But I'll message you in DMs a little bit later on after work. It might actually be tomorrow. I might not go back on Discord today because I try to avoid it because the thing is, and for those of you guys that are new, a lot of you will have heard me say this before, my Discord just looks like this. It just constant messages all the time and it never stops. So I close it all day and I open it for like an hour every day to read those messages and respond to, like, not necessarily the most important ones, but like priority people, like people I work with or people I've specifically asked to talk to me, or channel members and people like that, you know, people who get priority responses. So if I get, like, you know, 50 or 60 messages in a day, I'll try and respond to like 10 of them and have like a short conversation with that person or those people over the course of an hour before closing Discord for the day again and taking a break from it. So it might be tomorrow when I get back to you. I haven't forgotten though. I will just drop me a message and you'll be in the priority response list. I think the leeches return in Descent to Nowhere. Muttersteak, it'd be really cool if they did. Because we haven't actually seen the leeches in there yet, but we've seen a lot of environmental factors, haven't we? So where do you think they'll show up and why? Do you think they could be in the prison section where we seem to see Mono and Hush trying to escape from? I have a theory that the other way to enter the nowhere is the little house the girl got in the stop motion series. In fact, an ensorcelled object. That's interesting because I've seen, and this wasn't my theory, this was Jord's. It's just Jord. He had a theory the other week that the monster baby is that little girl that we see in the stop motion trailer. And there's a lot of reasons to believe that. I won't go into it here. Go watch Jord's video for full details. But that could very well be. That could be one of the ways the residents get to nowhere, because the monster baby is technically a resident. Or is she? Consider this. Is the monster baby a resident? Or Is she a visitor that was warped and distorted by the nowhere, like Monster 6? Think about this. The visitors that spend too long in the nowhere and become trapped and absorbed by it, like 6 did in the signal tower when she became Monster 6, she didn't necessarily become an adult, did she? She didn't grow. Well, she grew in the physical sense, but not in the hypothetical sense. She didn't age when she became Monster 6, like Mono did when he became the Thin Man. There was no series of progression there. She just got bigger, but she stayed exactly as she was, like to a point where she still had all the toys in the same room and everything, and it was manifested as, you know, the broken, vulnerable child made manifest, but turned into a monster with some capacity to it. What if this little girl from the stop motion trailer did the same thing? What if she ends up as a visitor to the nowhere but becomes warped by it, trapped in it, and surrenders herself to it, and her version of Monster 6, like, she becomes Monster Baby, and that's why it doesn't have a name strictly. What if she is Baby? Alright, this is just a random one, but what if the girl is just, what if that's her name? And I know it's a strange one, but roll with me, okay? Bear with me on this. The characters in the nowhere have rather strange names. Law, Alone, Six, Mono, Hush, and you know, about their characteristics and stuff like that. And there is a lot of speculation on how they get them. Now, it could be that I alluded to a theory a while ago where I believe the nowhere sort of steals your memory a little bit. That's why in the comics, the bread boy was saying to Six, you know, you have to tell us if, you know, what's the last thing you remember? If you don't tell us, you're sure to forget altogether. That's what the bread boy says to Six. And that makes me wonder if the nowhere steals your memories or warps them or changes them. And that's why none of the characters have real names or use their real names. Much like Ruth, but that's not her real... Sorry, Ruth is her real name, but they call her Noon. She calls herself Noon. They use other names to refer to each other because they just make it up. Now, what if Baby isn't her real name? The child, she's called Emily, I think. So the little girl is called Emily. But what if her mother calls her Baby? Because she's her baby, she's her daughter. And then when she goes to nowhere, she loses the memory of what her real name is. So she just takes on the pseudonym Baby. So it's like, hi, I'm Mono, hi, I'm Baby, kind of thing. And what if Baby, when she's in the nowhere, becomes corrupted by the part of the necropolis that she gets trapped in, much like Six did in the signal tower, so she became Monster 6, and Baby becomes Monster Baby? What if she's not a resident? What if she's a visitor gone awry? What do we think of that? I'm going to make a theory video out of that. I said it first! Screw you, Jord! No, Jord said it first, but that extra little tidbit at the end there, that's mine, and I might expand on that a little bit more. That felt really weird saying, that's my theory. Theory's a theory, you know, we can share ideas. But what do you guys think of that little concept I just came up with there? And bear in mind, I need to credit Jord on that because Jord was the one that pointed out the similarities between Emily and the Monster Baby, and I probably wouldn't have clicked onto that, or at least I wouldn't be talking about it right here and right now if it wasn't for Jord and his theory video in the first place. So please remember, credit Jord. A tornado in England. I've never seen such a thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird, Catsy? Isn't it really strange, tornado? And I thought that was really weird, but I was like, oh crap, tornado, that's friggin' dangerous. Especially in my town, I was like, oh crap. You know, like nobody was hurt, at least from what I gather, but... Yeah, anyway. Saya, thank you for saying that there, because that was very thought-provoking. And I forgot to thank you and actually credit you as well, because the fact that you said that inspired me to think of that little concept there, and if that comes to be a thing, then that's you and me. Bookworm, what's up? Sorry I'm late, don't worry about it. I've just been yapping as always. You haven't missed anything. I'm glad you're okay. Also talked about there being possibly many doors to the nowhere, but you need keys forged by fear. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot, Shazza, and you are right. There could be more than one way to enter the nowhere, and maybe that's one of them. for keys forged by fear. Maybe that's what they meant by to plunge you must be pushed, because maybe death is one of them. I know that's morbid, but I think there's a reason we see the detective standing on the edge of a bridge before she descends to nowhere. What's a stick? I think in the DLC we're going to see the perfect lady. I hope we do. I really do hope we do, Mutterstick. And if we do, if she is like the main villain in the DLC, then you called it. Sushiku, hello, Gemini. What? First time in forever chatting, but don't worry, I've been watching. Well, it's great to see you, Sushiku. I'm really sorry it took me an hour to get to your comment, as it always does. Like you might imagine, chat's really busy at the moment, but it's great to see you, and I'm glad you're doing okay. Do you have any theories that you would like to share with us today? Gemini, take all the time you need, don't worry about us. I appreciate that, Steph. Thank you so much. Good luck on finding a house. Thank you. Thank you, guys. God, it feels like ages ago when I was talking about my house troubles, but thank you all so much for your concerns. Hey, Timsy, what's up? How you doing? I heard that you created a song. I don't know if it's a music video necessarily, but I know that you created a song with Katsy that I'm going to be looking into. Speaking of Katsy, love hearts. Likes. Hey Geminem and Mama for Geminem and Mama Gemma Luna for being awesome. I'm sorry about your home. If you need a place to crash or stay, my door is always open. Thank you, Katsy. That's really wholesome. That's really sweet of you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate the love for my mum, and I appreciate your donor. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it took me forever to get to that. You know what I'm like. And I will keep apologising for it, because there's some new people that come into chat will be like, you know, what the hell? You know, is this guy even reading the comments? And I'm like, yes, that's the problem. I'm reading the comments, I promise. But yes, hello Timsy, thank you Katsy, and welcome back Zushiku. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to greet you all and say thank you for that. Well, that's awful. I'm really sorry for you, but you know we need to find strength to get through times like these and come out. Yeah, exactly. We need to just keep moving forwards. That was another thing I said on the phone to my very dear friend Notorious Bass last night, is that regardless of how bad or dire the situation gets, what's important is remembering the legacy. Is regardless of what happens when it comes to my mum, my house, my health, my situation, you have to keep moving forwards. You have to keep progressing. You have to get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. And that can be hard. And it's not always easy to do, especially not by yourself. But that's the point of having a community like this. None of us are alone. Except alone. But, you know, in a different way. Ah, chat jumped. Stupid chat. Cult. Call us viewers. Call us cult. I'm so glad we've revisited this now. I'm always happy to be your loyal viewer. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that. What was it? Who could hate you? Lots of people, puppy. Lots of people don't like me. And they don't even need a reason. There can be... So... Human beings will naturally default to one of two things. They either relate to you and therefore like you, or they don't relate to you and therefore do not like you. And that's okay, because it's human nature. You don't necessarily have to give people a reason not to like you. They will just find one. And the truth is, if you were to put two people on a desert island and they were the only people on Earth, if you dig deeply enough, you will eventually find something to disagree with that person on. There will be something that you don't have in common, or something, a value you don't necessarily share, even if you're the best of friends and the closest of people, you know, whether it be in, you know, your best friends from school and you can never hate this person, but if you dig deep enough, there's always going to be something, and it could be remote and very, very fundamental, but there will always be a reason not to like someone. And for some people, those feelings, especially people you don't know, or people that are just finding you as a person on the internet, it can be very, very surface level. They don't like your face, they don't like the way you dress, they don't like your voice, they don't like the fact that you take forever to answer your chat. There's 101 reasons why people would dislike me, or the way I present, or my content, and you know, whatever. And that's fine, because they're allowed to dislike me. That's why, and I'll say this, and this is kind of wholesome, I will see hurtful comments, because like I'll get comments below my videos, and some of them are hurtful and some of them are just mean, or just people being trolls or being rude. But then I'll also see people from my community, some of you guys, that will defend me actively. And while I like that and it's wholesome and it makes me really grateful for the fact that I've got such a community that will defend me behind my back, don't. And I'm not saying, like, you know, you don't defend me because you're in the wrong. I'm saying that these are just people that are expressing their opinions and their views, just like you are. But I don't want toxicity. I don't want anyone to fight, especially not over me. If they don't like me, that's fine. That's perfectly all right. I'm a big boy and I've got thick skin. I'm very hard to upset. Like, I'm really hard to insult. So don't worry about jumping to my defense. If you see hurtful comments, I get them all the time. I'm used to them. And if anything, I welcome them, because some of them actually contain criticism, which if I look at from a broader perspective, I can use to improve my presentation, my content, my dress sense, you know, whatever. But my point is, don't fight with anyone in the comments, particularly over me. I love that you want to defend me, and I very much appreciate it, but you don't have to worry about taking care of me, because I'm a grown-ass man, and I wouldn't want anybody to be attacked over them having a view. They don't have to like me. They also don't have to say anything hurtful, but people just will. So just take some pride in knowing that you're better than them. I do. What if the resident's abilities, like the janitor's arms and the teacher's neck, symbolize something from their human life? Yeah, what if it does? What if it represents something like the way they worked, for instance? Like, it's cool because, like, the teacher actually has one gimmick kind of like that. Not necessarily her neck. Well, yes, her neck, because her neck can, you know, she can look into any nook and cranny. You can't really hide from the teacher. But something else about the teacher that's worthy of note, and it alludes to your theory just now, is she doesn't blink. She's got massive eyes, and they don't blink, because she is an overseer. So the idea is that you can't escape from her gaze. She's always watching. And that's something that she would bring across from her real life. But in real life, her neck wouldn't stretch and her eyes wouldn't bulge. You know, she would blink eventually. But the nowhere, it, like I've said earlier on, it turns you into like a pseudo-humanoid facsimile of what you were in real life. So she was an awful teacher that would keep an eye on the students and be craning her neck in every direction to make sure that everyone's behaving, lest they be punished sadistically. Then the nowhere would take those qualities and extort them, like time again, to a point where it's like not even human anymore. But it's still, the janitor could be the same. I'm not sure why, I'd have to think on it, but yeah, definitely, it could definitely be those features. The gems would be funny. I like Altac. No, we haven't gone over Steph's presentation. I was going to take the last hour to do it because last time we did, it was a long one, and I've got a feeling it will be this time. But I wanted to have a good chat with you guys first before going into Steph's theory, because Steph's theory will be the last thing we do before closing out. But I wanted everybody to share their own theories and thoughts and speculations, give everyone else a chance to talk before we go into Steph's presentation. Because as much as I appreciate Steph's presentation and the fact that it's a theory that he's collaborated with a lot of other valuable people on, most of which are in the chat right now, it will distract attention from the conversation that we're having now, and it'll move it on to Steph's theory, which it should, because Steph's taken a lot of time, as has their community, to present us with this with the slideshow. Why do I forget the word slideshow? I'm just going to say presentation. But they've taken a lot of time to put this together for us, and I want to give it the respect it deserves. And I think it's going to be really hard for me to respect both you guys sharing your thoughts and theories and Steph's and his community's theories at the same time. So I'm letting you guys talk first for the first hour or so, and then I'm going to go into Steph's theory, and we're going to discuss that afterwards, if that's okay. There is a method in the madness. Cults, yeah, a lot of people are saying, are we cults, guys? Are we a cult? Is that what I should call you guys? Like, yeah, so what, like, a couple of other names, guys. What do you think I should call you? You guys are happy being like, some of you like being called viewers. Some of you like being the cult of Gemini. Some of you are happy being children, little ones. What should I call you guys? I'm clipping good stuff. Oh no, I forgot Steph's making a Gemini out of context video to get me banned. Yes, makes me wonder why are leeches only self out only in the mall. Yeah, strange, right? It is strange. I mean, it does make sense that you would get creatures like leeches in an underwater vessel kind of thing, because they need, like, you know, the damp and humid environment that the mall would inevitably create, much like the big rhinoceros beetles that we see in the necropolis. They would be native to that particular biome, I guess. But yeah, it is strange that we haven't seen more leeches. They've reused the guests, why not the leeches? Yeah, exactly, guys. They could absolutely do that. Hey, Micah, how you doing? Hope you're all right. She says, hi, everyone. She, he, there. I don't know. I'm sorry. I assumed you were a she because I said it like that. Micah. It's because I know a little girl called Micah. Well, I don't know her, but she's my friend's daughter. I've seen that Reanimal has a lot of monsters from the Little Nightmares concept art. Interesting. I thought that there was a creature that looked very Little Nightmares, but it looked like the kind of thing that would fit being in the carnival. It was kind of like a contortionist sort of creature. She was called a resident in the marketing material, I think. Interesting. But Emmy, though. Well, I think the places in Sounds of Nightmares play a big importance in the Nowhere because the newer content all seems to take place around those places. Yeah, agreed. Like the carnival, for instance. Just imagine the monster baby is the girl. She travelled into nowhere without knowing, and also thinks she's playing with dolls, but she's killing real children. She didn't know, she just grew big. Yeah, exactly. Like, was she aware of her actions as the monster baby or nah? She still thinks she's in the real world. Yeah, as far as she's concerned, like, in her, maybe that's what she's seeing. Maybe that's what we're getting a glimpse of. Maybe you're right. Saya, think about this. Okay, sorry guys, I'm going to press pause and stand up and adjust myself again so I can sit on the other foot because this one's going numb and I don't sit normally like a regular human being because I'm a cyborg. Anyway, so what Saya's just said is really interesting. Now, we see, thanks to Steph, we see that the ferryman is in the room. Okay, the ferryman is in the room with Emmy when she's playing with the dollhouse. At least, you know, when she goes over and she goes over to the dollhouse and things like that. Now, if what Saya said is true and the monster baby is Emmy, but she's unaware that she's hurting people, you know, as far as she's aware, she's just playing with toys in her room with a dollhouse. You know, she's just picking stuff up and putting it down and slamming things together like children do when they play. But from her perspective, she's just playing with dolls in her room. She doesn't know she's a monster. She thinks she went back. She thinks she's safe. She thinks she's happy. She thinks she's out. She thinks she's out. She thinks she escaped. Emmy went to the nowhere and escaped, but she didn't. She didn't escape. If what I said about her creating an image for herself, let's say this. Emmy goes to the nowhere. She undergoes an adventure of her own, much like Mono in 6. She becomes the monster baby, but in her mind, it warps her brain. Because she is trapped within the nowhere, it takes over her mind. It transforms her body into the monster baby. But in her head, in the monster baby's head, she's just living her normal life because as far as she's concerned, she escaped. What if that's what happened to Monster 6 as well? What if what I said about Monster Baby and Monster 6 being related in somewhere as far as concept goes, that 6, that's why she turns on Mono at the end. Because as far as she's aware, when she becomes Monster 6, the nowhere warps her body, changes her into Monster 6 and creates a false reality in her mind where she escaped. Where she's free, where she's happy, where she's got her music box and her toys in her room with her creature comforts and everything is absolutely fine in her head. She doesn't know she's Monster 6. She doesn't realise she's wrong, okay? And then Mono breaks the music box and he brings her back. Mono brings her back to the nowhere unintentionally, because as far as she was concerned, she escaped. So from 6's perspective, when she is transformed back from Monster 6 to regular 6, she's like, you brought me back here. You son of a bitch. And that's why she drops him. Because in her head, she had a simulated reality created by the Nowhere after being subjected to the wrath of the Signal Tower and everything that it was. And what if that's what's happening with the monster baby as well? Sire, well done. Well done. Because that, like you saying that there, is really thought-provoking, right? Ooh, that is crazy. I like that. I like that a lot. I am going to make a theory about that. In fact, I'm writing these down. You see what you've done? You forced me to pull out the notebook. Right, I'm just going to... Right, bear with me real quick. I'm just going to write this out. I'm not writing the whole thing. I'm just writing notes. Yeah. This is a theory video that I'm going to make. Thank you, sire. You will be credited for inspiring these thoughts. Well, actually, I'm going to reference this stream because there's been a number of people in here that have contributed ideas to this. And obviously, Just George sparked the conversation in the first place by having the theory video put out in the first place about the monster baby and Emmy's links and ties. So yeah, awesome. Right, let me see. Yeah, sorry, Emmy. It's either Emmy or Emily. I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure it was Emmy. That makes sense because Noon says that she feels the losing part of her. Exactly. You see, Kip. You see. That's why I don't want to kill Monster Baby. She's one of the monsters that isn't purposely trying to hurt anyone. It's honestly sad. It is, right? Oh, I am so excited to move on to these. Jem just broke the record. He's really far behind. I am miles away. Steph, I am literally miles away. But the thing is, the idea of the stream is to let people say things and put their theories and predictions out there so that I can read them and reference them so that if people call it before it happens, they can say, I knew it, and they can prove it. And I'm trying to give people a chance to prove it. Yeah, oh, shoot. But, yeah, speaking of, I am actually going to have to skip a couple. Geminists. Listen, I am not calling my audience Geminists. I refuse to make that a thing. Mr. Tibbs, that's gross. I'm not calling them Geminists at all. Plasmatic, right, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to skip a little bit. I'm just going to say hello to these people. I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to move on to Steph's theory because I know it will take up some time, and I was being honest earlier on when I said that I do have work tonight and it's going to be a shorter stream. It's still going to be around 2 hours, but that only gives us about 40 minutes to come through Steph's theory and then and their community's theory, so it's not just Steph by himself. But Steph always shouts out the people who are involved anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. However, I'm going to take a really quick break. I'm just going to say hi to a couple of people who I haven't had a chance to say hi to yet, address anything that really jumps out or that I've been tagged in right here, and then I'm going to take a very, very quick break so I can use the bathroom, and then I will return and we'll jump into Steph's theory if that's okay. So just moving swiftly on, and I'm so sorry if I've missed anybody. Yes, I am behind. Kip, I'm really, really far behind. Absolutely. ANH, yeah, that is why I think Alone is called Alone. Maybe she'll end up alone. That's what I think, and I alluded to that in the pseudonym theory. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out because I go into detail about it. You and Base are never alone. There's a lot of love from Tibbs. Thank you, Mr. Tibbs. I appreciate the love and respect. What did I miss? Any cool theory? Yes, Alex the Frog, but don't worry. You can watch the VOD. You'll be able to play it back and see this. And also, I am going to be making some extended theory videos on these concepts. At least one of them, definitely. Shazamay, Noon changed her nickname so the councillor won't find her, which makes sense. Which makes her alone. Oops. Shazza said it. What if Noon is alone? Because, again, like I said earlier, we don't know what Noon looks like. we don't know what noon looks like. It could be. Hi, Chris. What's up? Hi, Nix. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so sorry, real quick. Hello there to Nix, Alex the Frog, and Chris, because you guys came in, and Plasmatic also, who I didn't get to say hi to. I'm just trying to comb through these really quickly. Plasmatic says, while most residents... Wait, sorry, no, I skipped Zachary's, and Zachary had a theory. If the Mirror Man is the main villain, since the mirror is a master of illusions, what is shown an illusion of one of our main protagonists and flashbacks of their insecurities? Yeah, exactly. What if it's like what's the word? What if it's like the opposite of the Mirror of Erised from Harry Potter? So, like, for those of you that don't know Harry Potter, there's a mirror in it called the Mirror of Erised. And it's the mirror of desire, and it just reflects back at you whatever you want to see. It reflects your heart's greatest desires. Or what if the mirrors in the nowhere are the exact opposite? And what if they reflect your greatest fears and they make them manifest? What if they turn them into the residents? What if the mirror is what creates the residents? And what if whatever creature lurks within the mirrors is what feeds the spectrums of the end? And it creates those fears by reflecting. By reading the children's mind. The children look into the mirrors, they see their worst fear, and then the Mirror Man brings it to life by drawing in something like that from the real world and turning it into a resident, like the teacher, like the chefs, and like Otto. Great theory, Zachary. Zachary J. Jatnagard. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is terrible. I'm just going to call you Zachary J for now because I can read that bit. But yeah, massive shout out to you. Well done. I get angry easily. Can't imagine having your patient. No, honestly, Alex, you're not alone. Believe it or not, I have a very, very severe anger issue. But my anger isn't necessarily unfounded. It comes from pressure. My anger issue is explosive. I get violently angry, which is one of the main reasons I started kickboxing in the first place. Not only for self-defense reasons, because I was bullied in school and there was a lot of garbage that went on with that. I wanted to be able to fight, but also it was a great outlet for my rage. So yeah, Alex the Frog, if you find yourself getting angry easily, it may be worth you pursuing a combat sport of some description, or some kind of something like, you know, rugby or American football, or something that lets you just be aggressive on purpose. Go to the gym, work out, lift weights, you know, do something that's a creative and positive outlet for your anger, rather than just smashing up your office and having to buy a new controller. What's up next? Evie Boy, what's up? I'm really sorry I didn't get to say hi or bye to Evie Boy. Sorry I missed that. Gemini, any sacrifices today? Probably will sacrifice Mr. Tibbs today. In fact, yeah, I'll let you guys decide. Who should we sacrifice? I'll come back in a second and I'll let people know. Al Simmons, Hellspawn, do you think the North Wind will return? I really hope so, because I feel like the North Wind is a valuable character. I just don't know what they could do with it or what direction they could take. Gemini is a cyborg, confirmed. Yeah, I thought that was common knowledge. I thought everybody knew that. Oh my god, the song growing loud. I can't hear the music, Bookworm. I don't know if that was impactful or not. I can't hear the music that's playing in the background. Let him cook. Let him cook. Can you smell a time paradox again? Something like that. Holy crap, chat. Oh my lord. Yeah. Oh my days. Oh my 10 days, blood. Oh my gosh. Bruh. My mum doesn't know the lore of Little Nightmares and drew a lot of connections to Greek mythology and Nightmare on Elm Street. Now that I think about it, Little Nightmares has a lot of similarities to Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, it does, because Freddy Krueger is a dream demon. I would never think you had bad anger issues. You seem like a very calm guy. I try. See, I am intentionally... Because I'm a nice person. I'm kind. I have a good heart and a kind soul. I get it from my mum. But I'm quick to anger, and I've never really understood why. It's definitely a mental thing. Like, you know, it's kind of subconscious. But I volunteer as tribute. Sacrifice Kip! Sacrifice immediately! Runaway cover. Who will be eaten by Sigs? No, take me instead. Let's sacrifice. We'll sacrifice somebody in a moment. But for now, I am just going to be... I'm just going to take a really quick break. I'm going to change up the camera settings and everything like that. I'm going to use the bathroom, and then we're going to get into Steps theory here that they've taken the time to create for us. And then we're going to move forward. So... please don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe with notifications on if you haven't, because it'll help you get to be in the next one, especially if you're new here. And yeah, That's a clip. God damn it, Paul. I can't. I can't pull who I can't pull like everybody's names. I should though. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll pick three. I'll pick three when I get back, and I'll pull it. And then at the end of the stream, we'll decide who's going to be the sacrifice. But for now, I'm just going to call it here while I take a break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. If you want to be a sacrifice, let me know in the chat. I'll be right back. Bye. Yes. Okay. Steph's being very smart. All right, guys. New poll. Who will be today's worthy sacrifice? Who's going to be sacrificed to me? Because For those of you guys that don't know, I eat people. Apparently that it's common knowledge that Gemini eats people's souls when the bodies are still attached to them. So there's a number of you that have that have volunteered to be sacrificed today, and I would like you guys to vote on who you think should be sacrificed the most, and at the end of the stream you'll never see them again. Who do we think? Cast your votes, little ones. Gemini's our leader. It's like, I love how I leaned right into the cult leader aesthetic. Like, I'm going to end up being like a... should I make a church? I don't know. Like, maybe that's when I move. I'm going to move house. Maybe I should move into a church and just start walking around in a cloak with a friggin' a cloak with a big eyeball necklace on. I want to be sacrificed. Look at people arguing over being a sacrifice. Don't worry, guys. You will all be sacrificed eventually, in good time. Praise noises. Sounds of worship. I don't have a soul. What if we sacrifice Gemini instead? You can try. Barbara! They're sacrificing us, Barbara! I'm just Nick George's thing now. Gemini being British. I am about as British as it gets, unfortunately. Barbara must live and keep being summoned every stream. What's up, Andrew? Good guy. Andrew, you're just in time to decide who we get to sacrifice for today. I want to be a sacrifice. I can't do it. Katsu does a great Ivysaur impression, and I can't. How do you do it? I'm going to draw Gem in a black cover to show you as well. Somebody draw me as a cult leader. Draw me in Little Nightmare style as well. And, like, seriously, don't hold back. Like, be aggressive with it. Like, don't think, oh, I better draw him, like, you know, quite good looking. Yeah, make me ugly as sin. Like, like, draw me like a proper resident. What should, like, yeah, I'm still struggling with what to call you guys. Viewers, little ones, children, the cult, the followers. Oh no, maybe I should turn you guys into a concept and make a speculative DLC video where you guys get to be the viewers. No, I can't call you the viewers. The cult. Yeah, and maybe that. Okay, right. Just a real quick concept. What if we make me a canon character in the nowhere, and I am the cult leader, and the area where the whole thing takes place is in a church, and you will have to you'll have to navigate the area as a visitor of the nowhere, but you will be constantly accosted by cult members. You guys. And I'll draw them all, and each one of them will have like a little bit of you in them. We're not calling them Geminists, Mr. Tibbs. Cult leader resident. Call us mini gems. Mini me's. Oh no. Oh, there's too many mini me's ripping my history. You know my Oh no, that's not it. What's that song? Too many mini me's ripping my history. You know no. How does that song go? I've forgotten it now. You guys know the one I'm talking about, the Fallen in Reverse one. Oh, imagery, yeah. What does he say? Too many minimies, ripping my imagery, you know my history, in a mystery. Somebody send me some positive energy, about to go Darth, about to go Disney, into the darkness, into finish. Yeah, I can't say the rest of it. Yes, thank you, sire. Please draw me as a monster. Anyone with any artistic prowess, draw me as a monster. What's up, Karina? How you doing? Welcome back. Draw me as the theorist. I think that would be Jord. Jord would be the theorist. And yeah, don't forget to include the cult. Do a poll. I feel like a good concept art would be the Ouija man. Glaswegians are scary, bro. Aye. You're questionable. Glasgow, aye. Unless for cult and more for dictatorships and world domination, but it's personal objective and hey, yeah, well, if you know the biggest cults in the world rule it, right? Gemini, what would you do if the hunter started shooting at you? I'd just catch the bullet in my teeth. And then I'd swallow it. And I wouldn't break eye contact with him while I did it. You're listening to Falling in Reverse too. Just that song, I really like that song. Right. Let's do this. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to switch from cam big to cam small, which is this one here. I'm going to turn off my background. I'm going to turn on my display. I'm going to... Oh, I'm not going to full screen it yet because I still need to read chat. There you go. Look at you guys. Hello, everybody. Say hi, chat. Wait, we're not calling you chat. What are we calling you? I will think of something to call you guys. I probably will make a poll on it eventually and end up breaking it down. Gemini catching bullets in his teeth. No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I'm not that jacked. I just think it would be a pretty Giga Chad thing to do. Joe got a letter from the ferryman. He's banned from the nowhere. You're getting one too. Reason of ban, knowing too much about the nowhere. Steph has one too. It's a restraining order. Wait, like, imagine that being banned from the nowhere. You'd have to be a pretty bad dude. No! Guy, we are not calling them... You're not Geminist. This is the thing. I refuse to let you guys be called Geminists. What's up, Chris? How you doing? Sent you something in Discord. Thank you, Faceless Art and Skills. I really appreciate it. I will look into it, but I don't know if I'll go... Well, I probably will go back on Discord briefly this evening after work, but it means I might not see what you've sent me for like the next 8 hours because I have to go to work right after this stream, and that's not going to be far away. So I'm going to keep moving. Shut up, Mr. Tibbs. Don't make me... Don't make me talk to your wife. I think Gemini is too pure for the nowhere despite being a cult. Oh, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. How about Gemstone? Gemstones is nice. Hey, Gemstones is kind of wholesome. We are your shiny gems. Oh, I am a hardcore Geminist. I'm going to be sick. Geminist is kind of right out. I should have known that whatever I decided was a bad idea, you guys would roll with. Right out loud. Well, does that mean that the cult we follow is the cult of Geminism? Should we get hashtag Geminism being a thing? That's going to be the name of my religion when I take over the world. When I become God, and you all... I'll remember all of you, by the way, when I take over the world. But, yeah, and I'll request that you all become followers of Geminism. I will keep proposing the name Gem Monsters. Okay. So, you guys will have to bear with me because we worship Gemini now. Yes. Yes. So, Steph's theory is up on screen. It looks dope already. I really like, look at this. Look at this. Theory night. How cool is that? Featuring JK Mal and Eddie. Left control mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Yes, no problem. And I will full screen it as well. So, you guys are going to notice that the... oh, wait, sorry. I knew you were going to ask. Right. So, just real quick, let me address that because I know this is important to Faceless Art and Skills. Your character, Ivy, I really like. So, those people that don't know, Faceless Art and Skills creates character concepts for Little Nightmares, and she recently created one called Ivy, which is a visitor, and she's awesome, and she's been drawing Ivy in the style of the Descent to Nowhere comics, and I really like that you captured the aesthetic of the the aesthetic of the Descent to Nowhere, particularly the art style, because of your use of watercolour, and it wasn't me that suggested this, but I think another person you showed it to said that Ivy's colour palette really resonates with her name, and her name has a validity in the meaning behind it as well, being like intertwined with something and like hanging on to something. So I really like that, and that's why I like your concept for Ivy. Don't worry about repeating yourself. I understand that it's important to you, and now that I wanted to take the time to go do that. Gemini, the cops are outside. Let him go. I'm ready. Shall we do this? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready, Eddie. Let's do this. Bring it on, coppers. You'll never take me. Random nunchucks. Nunchucks mentioned. Yes, theory night. Sorry. Right, the cops will have to wait. Because... And the nunchucks will have to wait as well. Because it is currently time. Help! Yes. Hey, wait, that's me. That is you, Mel. Okay, so I'm going to get into this. But I am going to lose chat throughout most of it. Because as you guys can see, there's a lot of pages here to comb through. I'm not sure how many there are. But there's at least 19 that I can see at the moment. So... Bro pulled nunchucks out of his inventory. Yeah, you wouldn't believe what else I've carried around. W nunchuck work. What's up, Dr. Nightmare? Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, got my popcorn ready for theory night. I wish I did. Where'd you get the nunchucks? I bought them from my martial arts academy. Yes, W Bookworm. You just became Michelangelo from TMNT. Save me a slice of pizza. Randomly having nunchucks is a very Gemini thing to do. Right, you haven't seen the weapon wall. Weren't nunchucks illegal? Well, yeah, but the police are already here, so... Hi, everyone. Alright, so I'm going to have to close chat so that I can full screen this and show Steph and... JKML and Eddie and apparently Idiotic Bookworm the respect they deserve because they've put this theory together for us in presentation format and I cannot wait. And Kip, you don't want to know what else is in my pockets. Jem, did you clip it? I didn't clip anything, but somebody should. Right. I'm gonna lose chat, guys, so forgive me. I won't be responding to messages for the next little while. Still feel free to talk. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, I want to get into this because I don't want to end up saying I'm gonna do this now and then be like, yeah, Steph, come back tomorrow. We'll cover it then, because that's what I did last time. It wasn't very fair. So closing chat, closing my face, and full screening. Theory night! Oh, how lovely. Oh, this is brilliant. I really like this. I really like this. Oh, wait. Sorry. One last thing. I can still have chat, kind of, if I move it over to my OBS screen. So, I'll have that there. And then back to this. Alright, let's go. Let's go! Spoiler alert for Little Nightmares, 2 Little Nightmares, 3 in the Sounds of Nightmares. I just transitioned to dope. A book... What? Hello. A book in Very Little Nightmares. 6 characters and might have decoded those characters. Oh? Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. T-H-E-M-A-W. Very nice. Very nice. Really rather interesting. You know what? We could actually, if this is correct, if this is accurate, and I hope it is, then we could actually use that to decode a lot of the signs and symbols and stuff that's in the nowhere. That is dope. I really like that. Gotta go watch it. No worry, Clamari. That's absolutely fine. Step JKML collab theory. How to enter. Ooh. Okay, let's cover this. Doesn't the number 249 ring any bells at all? No. Yes. Yes. Yes, it does, but I can't remember why, but for some reason I'm thinking of the nurse. Why am I thinking of the nurse? The stamp, the punching thing in the hospital. 249, right? 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 Do I have to click? Step, do I have to click? Oh, I have to, yep, I have to click. Sorry. Okay, great. So everyone's been excited about the new release of Little Nightmares 3, right? Me for sure, says Steph. Well, so they're not paying much attention to the last games. I was playing through them early when I noticed something in the hospital chapter on a board up at the top of the reception area right before the TV screen scene. There is a tally at the top of the numbers 249. Yes, there is. I thought that was the appointment numbers for the patients that were being called in. Press C on the keyboard. Hey! Hooray! Oh, cool, I can keep doing it! Woo! I'm gonna crash the stream. Yo! Boom, 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 boom. Steph, I remember because I literally, because I had the nurse interact with that machine in my speculative DLC video, chapter 3, I had the nurse interact with that machine, and I remember looking at it and thinking, cool, that's what that must be, because Roger in that video is a patient at the hospital, and that's why I remember seeing it, because I was trying to think of the relevance it would have. Wow. The nightmare number. What's the nightmare number? 690542 is known as the nightmare number. The number features the numbers 2, 4, and 9, which of course makes 249. When adding all the numbers together, you get 15. And the spiritual meanings of 15 are balance and harmony. And most importantly, the merging of physical and spiritual realms. That's interesting, because obviously the nowhere and the counties. This could be giving nods to how little ones can enter the nowhere in the first place. The waking world merges, connects with the nowhere. The balanced part can indicate that you must be stable to be able to enter the nowhere, because Otto wasn't mentally stable at all. The ferryman said that he hasn't paid the toll yet. Maybe that's how you were able to get in, with balance. That's really interesting. That is really interesting indeed. Oh! Yeah, I agree. Steph, is there any way to put music to these? Oh, wait. What is my background one? There you go. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Forgive me. That was my fault because I turned my background off because I thought it would overlap Steph's presentation, but it hasn't, so that's fine. There we go. Now we got a bit of music. There you go. That's better. Right. One more little puff. Cool. This could be the actual safe way to enter. The ferryman said that it has to be done through torment. However, this can be a way, perhaps, but a bad and unnecessary way. Maybe we shouldn't take all of the things the ferryman has said too serious then, or take into account that there could be other ways to do certain things. Also, when you add the first two numbers in 249, you are left with 6 and 9. 6 is 9 years old. 6, 9. That's actually true and a great observation. And also, is it a bit strange that there's 69 days left until the release of Little Nightmares 3? Dun 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 dun! Confirmed. The concept art of the... there you go. Oh, this is interesting. I've seen this as well. The concept art of the in-game waiting room has a different number, 2457. The spiritual meanings of 2457 also are balance and harmony, just like 15 and 249. When adding the numbers of 2457 together, you get 18, represents spiritual growth. Yes, it does. I knew that. Otto was anything but balanced. He wasn't mentally stable at all. Maybe that's the toll that must be paid. Like the ferryman said, he needs to be balanced to enter. The ferryman does say that it goes through torment, but I don't know whether we should straight up believe everything he says. Yeah, because how reliable is the ferryman? Because does he have his own interests at heart? Like, what's the potential there? Oh yeah, I see. I can see up here. Yeah, I see where you're getting this. Why is 249 the only number in the nowhere? It could just show which patient was up next for an appointment. That's what I suspected. But knowing how Little Nightmares works, probably something more, perhaps disdain towards numbers because of it being the nightmare number. When growing up, many children grow a feeling of disdain towards the subject of maths, or even a hatred for it. This hatred could have been taken from the minds of the children in the counties and placed in the nowhere to remind the kids of the fact that the nowhere is a nightmarish place. It could be. I sure as hell hated maths when I was in school, but mostly because I sucked at it. That was really interesting. Steph and J.K. Mal have alluded to a lot of things in there that revolve around numbers, and I don't really consider numbers all that much. I'm going to bring my face back up while I talk. I don't really consider numbers all that much when I think about the nowhere, but we should, because numbers are visible in the nowhere and they're not encrypted. So the alphabet in the nowhere mostly is encrypted, sorry. None of the symbols make any sense. They're not written in any language. They're not legible to us as human beings. I thought that was because in dreams you can't read, because the ocular nerve is subdued when you sleep, therefore you can't read. The reason you think you can read in dreams is because you already have an idea of what the thing you're looking at is, or what it says, or what it's referencing. So in dreams you think you can read it even though you literally can't. And that would technically be the same with numbers. But numbers are visible in the nowhere, as we can see, as Steph and J.K. Mal alluded to just now with their theory, and of course on the clocks and stuff too. You can see that the clocks have actual numbers. But yeah, so that was the first part. Now, Steph and J.K. Mal have done another collaborative theory, and it's called Where Veronica Took Place. And again, I haven't seen this, but I am interested. So let's find out what they have to say. Let me just read chat super quick. Wait, what? I'm losing my mind. I should press M next. Why? Mic drop! Yo! Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, you guys can't see what's actually going on. Wait, sorry. That big ass face in the way. Mic drop! Hi! It is my number. I love that I have my own number. Dr. Nightmare does have his own, the nightmare number. I hate math. Typo there, don't worry. We all make typos. Veronica! Yeah, Veronica. I'm going to try and decode stuff that contains numbers more too. Yeah, Step, if you want to, something that I've always been curious about isn't necessarily numbers strictly, but it's the tally marks that we see in like the hunter's cabin. There's a number of places in the nowhere where we find tally marks, and I don't think they're there by accident, so that might be worth you looking into. Hi Gabriel, how you doing? I hope you're alright. I'm sorry I'm not super active with chat. It's because I'm trying to show Step and his community the respect they deserve by paying attention to the presentation they put together for this stream. So forgive me if I'm slow to react to some of the things that you guys are saying. Otto was far too corrupted to enter the nowhere. I believe the ferryman is the overlord of the nowhere and the good side of the mirror man is evil side. Potentially, yes. Potentially. And Gabriel, we're going to talk about this. Okay, we chatted for hours straight about this theory. J.K. Mal, Step, Eddie, and Bookworm. Hey, idiotic Bookworm! Shout out Bookworm! So these guys said DLC is not taking place during Six's time at the mall. Why? Also, Steph, I don't understand the secrets of the mall, like in the hideaway. DLC, runaway kid sees Six in the shoe room, but that doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Pretty sure it does. Because Six woke up just after RK was taken. Okay. The shoe pit is not far away and takes Six little time to reach, yet runaway kid sees Six walking through the pit, whether he chooses to go to the wood cutting room first or to the coal storage. The fact that the footages don't line up with the main game could mean that the iCam store or project footage from previous timelines or even parallel universes. Basically, there's one of each character and one world. However, within this world there are multiple layers and each character owns a layer. These layers are different times.
Okay, these layers are different times. However, at the end of each layer, they connect. 6 and 7 meet, and 6 kills 7. Their lines meet. Like the multiple worlds theory in physics, where it's like so there's a speculation among the scientific community that there isn't just one timeline but many branching ones in which exists like infinite copies of ourselves that exist exactly as we do now but making an ever so slightly different decision. So like for instance, and I'll just like put my camera on real quick while I talk. So, like, in the many worlds theory, there's a version of me that chooses to sit here and do this, and there's a version of me that chooses to stand up and go downstairs and get a refill on my cherry cola. And both of those worlds exist in real time. Or there's a version where the police actually are at my door outside, and I actually do go downstairs with a set of nunchucks, and I decide to take it upon myself to savage the police and go terminate and get myself arrested. But until I consciously make that decision, those worlds all exist in quantum, like they all exist at the same time. And I think that's kind of what these guys are alluding to here, in that the footage works kind of like CCTV, so it's not necessarily taking place in the moment. So he's not watching Six walk through as she's doing it. He's just watching the Moore's memory of her doing it, or you know, something that could have been. Because you notice in that footage as well, she's not actually being chased when she's wading through the shoe pit. But when you play as Six, she is being chased the whole time. So you would stand to reason that if we were seeing it happen in real time, we'd see the monster. You know, we'd see the monster's progression as it chases her through. But anyway, yeah, I think that's what we're getting at, but I'm getting sidetracked and I'm talking too much, and I've turned the wrong screen off. Cam big off. There you go. Okay. Do I spot a fellow Romanian in this chat? You might well do, Karina. If Alex the Frog is in here, he's Romanian. Why is Arcade called 7? Is that his canonical name now? No, it's his canonical name is Runaway Kid, but most people call him 7, I think because of Corey Kenshin. Corey Kenshin, for those of you for some reason who don't know, is one of the biggest gaming streamers in the world, and he loved Little Nightmares, and he played it really well. And I think he called 6 Sasha, and I think he called Runaway Kid 7. But I'm not sure if that's correct. I don't think that footage is meant to be linear, though. It's there to show you the adventures happen simultaneously rather than have the gameplay line up. Maybe, but we'll but that could be what goes on. They might explain that further as we move forward. Yes, they do. Okay, evidence. The each screen on the iCam showed differences in the rooms. The iCamera shows the bedroom different from the two known rooms, being 7's room and the one 6 goes through. The one on the camera is most likely on another floor, presumably a floor above RK. The other cams show more. Yeah, because these are not the same room. Or at least they don't take place at the same time. Because here we see 2 children, one of which has a doll. And here we see 2 children. Here we see 1 child, 1 doll. Here we see 2 children, no doll. The gnome room has 3 gnomes instead of 1 in 6's walkthrough, and there's no way that a gnome could have safely got out of this place, as the left side is to death. I see. Oh, it's too high. Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah, so the gnomes couldn't possibly get out of there unless they stacked one on top of the other. So maybe 1 or 2 of them could have escaped by helping each other up there. But they couldn't have escaped on that, so there would have to be at least 1 left. So if, like, let's say there were 3 gnomes in the room to start with, and they can't escape. I don't know, but let's continue. The storage has no bucket in the iCam, the jar is gone, and some bottles are gone. The carrot and beetroot are gone, and 2 green tiles. Yes, that's true. Now, that could actually be... now these are fairly distant. I mean, there's a bit of time between when we actually witness this footage, and when 6 actually runs through. I think because obviously, if it's true that when RK is in the room looking at these images, that 6 is running through the the shoe pit, sorry, then that gives this chef plenty of time to wake up and remove this bucket, this and this jar, and the beetroot and stuff as well. And these are, I think these tiles are slightly greened. I don't know if it's just like, you know, the camera quality over here. Oh no, because these ones aren't. So maybe it's just my eyes. But you're right. There are significant differences between here and there. So it could be, well, it's obvious that they do take place at different times, because this chef probably is responsible for returning these items here, because this pantry is more full than it was when the chef was here. But these items could potentially have been carried in this bucket, maybe. But either way, yes, there are significant differences there. The paintings are dislocated and some are totally different ones. In the ladies' quarters, are they? Yeah, this one looks to be different, absolutely. I don't know if that one is just reversed. Like this one here still looks like it still looks like this one, but it looks like it's been flipped. So it's facing the opposite way. But yeah, this one does look considerably different. This one is from the mall instead of the painting. Oh, sorry, it took a second to load in. This one is from the mall instead of an eye. This slope is a stairwell. Yes, the page isn't covered up. Oh, the painting isn't covered up. Is it not? No, you're right. It's not, because it would be covered from. You'd only be able to see this portion of it, right? Ah, yeah, and I see you've overlaid it there, right on top of each other. Interesting. Alright, that's cool, that's cool. In the main game, 6 lies down while RK gets dragged away, yet this isn't fact in the DLC. She's not even asleep at all. 7 is also looking at 6 when he's in the cage in the DLC. In the main game, he doesn't. That's right. That's right. Because she's sitting up there and she's sleeping here. That is correct. And now these are inconsistencies, which could, and again, they could quite easily be explained away with inconsistencies from a game development standpoint. It might just be as simple as the developers forgot to include these little details, or maybe they hadn't decided on this particular portion of the DLC in its entirety before. But that's boring. We don't like doing that. We like looking into what it really means. And I like this a lot. Let me just really quick. Oh my days! Just Jordan's in the chat. Come look. Hey, Gemini, I'm just dropping in to wish you the best. I'm in bed right now with this bloody ear infection, but I'm so sorry that you're not feeling well, Jord. Everybody in the chat knows who Just Jord is. Please drop some eyeballs in the chat and drop some wish Just Jord well, because he's not feeling very well. He's got a nasty ear infection, probably from listening to my voice too long. But Jord, thank you so much for stopping in and saying hello to us and gracing us with your presence. You've had multiple shout outs during this stream, because I do make a point of mentioning Jord every time I go live and every time I make a video, because he inspired my entire theory crafting career, as it was. So I want to show him the respect he deserves. The fact that he's come in here and said hello to us, and he's a member as well. Look at that. Just Jord is a channel member. Just Jord is a member of my channel. That is so humbling. But yeah, a lot of love for Big Jord in the chat right here. And yeah, Jord, don't forget to let us know who you would like to sacrifice, because someone at the end of this stream is going to be sacrificed. I'm going to ban him from chat. It's rigged. But thank you, Jord. I really appreciate you stopping in, even if you aren't able to stop by for very long. Even if you're gone now, it's really appreciated you being here. Thank you so much for stopping in. Massive respect to which Just Jord. America. I'm from Romania. Sorry, I should have waited. Oh no, yeah, I know you're Romanian, Karina. Your fellow Geminist is from the UK. Jord, if you're still here, I asked the chat earlier on. Sorry, I'm just going to put my webcam on real fast. Jord, I asked the chat earlier on what I should call my viewers, because I just call them viewers. I don't like calling them fans, because not everyone that watches my video is a fan. We're like, oh, maybe we should call us the cult, because we are a cult, quite obviously, and these guys are the cult followers. And there was a couple of names that came up that were a lot of fun, but the one that seems to be resonating the most is the Geminists. I refuse to acknowledge that that's a thing. but I've got a feeling if I put a poll up about it that everyone will vote to be called a Geminist, and I don't know if I'm okay with that. What do you think? Because if George says he's a Geminist, then then that's what you're going to be. Everyone's just going to have to be a Geminist and swallow it. Oh no. Hello, the evil. How are you? Yes, we do. We hope Jord is. We are a cult. Step or Barbara for sure. Definitely. Definitely. Ah, thank you so much. Like, I'm moving chat again. Go away. Go away, you guys. I'm reading. I'm reading Steph's. I'm going back to reading Steph's theory. But yes, this inconsistency is clear. So, what of it? We think that the timeline is drawn out by idiotic bookworm. There you go. We think that the timeline is actually existing outside of time branches. 6 and 7 are in the same universe but different timelines. 6 has failed once, since she knows about the lady before having seen her at all. During the game intro, she wakes up from a dream that presumably contained the lady, which is what we've seen in the initial cutscene. And that's why she also wakes up. It wasn't a dream, it was her getting caught by the lady. We also think that the intro for Little Nightmares 1 is in fact when 6 gets killed, or is about to get killed, or is wounded. Wounded! But how would 6 end up being alright? How could that be possible? Bookworm might have found out how. Shout out idiotic Bookworm. Perfect lady. Fully by Bookworm. This is the idiotic Bookworm's theory in its entirety. The feminists, the Geminists are taking over the chat again. We're the G-minis. We're the G-minis. Gemini. Oh, Dr. Nightmare, that's really clever. That's really creative. I like that a lot. My handwriting is terrible in this because it kept glitching. Please, don't worry, Bookworm. I can type like you wouldn't believe. I can type like 100 words in 20 seconds or something ridiculous, but but I can't write to save my life. My handwriting is childlike. Just George supports the cock. No. There's 2 versions of every person, one stuck in the nowhere, the other in the counties. Before fully transporting into the nowhere, you only become the other half in your sleep. However, unlike your real self, your dream version feels less physical pain, like a clone or a doll. Whenever you die in your dream world, the reason why you wake up is because the perfect lady fixes you. That's why she has Mono's tan trench coat, 6's raincoat, and why Noon says, like the this quote from Noon is actually really valid in this theory. I like that, and it's why the theories and why the ferryman says 2 flows from 1, and here is Hall again. An excellent link, Bookworm. I like that. If the ferryman saves kids when they're about to die, they might not even get sent straight back to the counties yet. Before waking up in the nowhere, could there be chance then that she basically fixes their bodies like they would a doll? The fact that the mannequins from the Lonely Way are able to move can also explain the fact that the perfect lady can turn kids back to life again. There also didn't seem to be much of importance for the clothing room, but now there is an important addition in that we think could be considered too. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome, Bookworm. I like that a lot. Now, the perfect lady is certainly an interesting character because she seems at least methodically linked to all of the characters in some way or another. Obviously, you know, the Mono's trench coat, 6's raincoat, and everything that you alluded to in your theory just now. What do you guys think of that? Do you think Bookworm is onto something with this? Could there be several versions, and is that what the Ferryman and Noon were trying to allude to when they said those quotes that Bookworm mentioned just now? Definitely, yeah, let's get some W's in the chat for this community. Step, Mal, Bookworm, you guys have all done a fantastic job here. Ooh, the upside down. This one is massive too. Interesting. Okay, all right, give me just a second, guys. There's something's happening. I'm going to take a super quick break. I'll be right back. Keep talking amongst yourselves, though. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. I'll put the camera on, just to let you know. I am back. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to just, like, abandon ship right there. There was someone screaming outside. It's just some drunken idiots being stupid. But it was a woman screaming, and I was like, I need to know. I need to be sure that it's not something actually bad happening before I choose to ignore it. Okay, back to the theory. The upside down theory. Stranger Things mentioned. Yeah, everything's totally fine, Catsy. Totally fine. It's just a bunch of drunken idiots. It's Saturday night, and to be honest, for my town, I should have known better. But around these parts where I live, it is kind of rough. And I just wanted to be absolutely certain that nobody was getting hurt. Now, not in our world. In episode 5 of The Sounds of Nightmares, Noon mentions a place called Hatefield. Yes, she does, actually. Yeah, I forgot about that. When describing the gnome, this place, however, does not exist on Earth, let alone a place called Hatefield where cone-shaped mushrooms grow. In the real world, people don't go around talking about a place called the Counties. We think it's a separate world. We think the nowhere is a twisted mirror of the Counties. When the kids call out, "Aye!" Oh, wait. Aye! For example, isn't it curious that the kids don't speak English, unlike Jester, Rusty, or Noon in The Sounds of Nightmares? Why wouldn't they actually speak? J.K. Mal says, I feel like the children can definitely still communicate and have dialogue, even though we never hear it in the game. I agree with Mal. This is why we think what we hear in-game is actually heard as English between the kids. Consider it as snake language from Harry Potter. Parseltongue. Yeah, absolutely. Parseltongue sounds like hissing snakes when you hear someone speak the language without comprehending the language yourself. But when you do comprehend Parseltongue, it'll sound like your own language. That's why we hear Otto and Noon speaking English. It's what they hear. The nowhere is described as twisted. This could cause language to become twisted too. Aye. Yeah, definitely. So we know that the kids in the nowhere communicate using English. It just might not sound to English to someone from the outside looking in. So for us, the viewer, the person who's watching, like playing the game, we hear Six and Mono communicating with a lot of heys and oys and little sounds, but to them they could be speaking to each other and actually making sense. Definitely. So Mono looks quite Asian, right? Yet given that if the Counties were a different world than Earth, how does that work? That's why we think the Counties are a parallel universe, as a replica of Earth, given how those impossible things are happening. Now, Gemini, you mentioned the nowhere being built for the children. The Maw, for example, starts with a room where no adult could have ever been inside of. Small stairs, perfectly sized for kids, are seen everywhere, conveniently placed, yet where do all those come from? Since the residents don't care about children at all. The nowhere is a nightmare realm, existing out of the imagination of children. That's why many things are built particularly for them. So, imagine Mono being Asian. That can definitely explain the Asian aesthetic of the Pale City. Furthermore, the Counties, confirmed to be the Counties, on the cover of The Descent to Nowhere, looks very similar to the Pale City. With water barrels and buildings, the nowhere is a twisted version of the Counties. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that you're onto something there. Step the fifth deity. Oops, sorry, I'm just going to go back to chat real quick before I continue. Bookworm gave me a headache with that thing. Yeah, honestly, Bookworm always has me thinking. She always makes me think. So these guys, you know, a lot of you guys will think that I'm really biased towards Step and their community, and it's not that. It's that they always go the extra mile to come up with this stuff. So it's one thing to leave me a comment, which I am massively grateful for because I can read those comments and I can respond to them. But when people actually put together something that's this in depth, you know, Step could and probably will make videos about these theories himself. And it's really wholesome and heartwarming to know that the community puts in this amount of effort to draw something to my attention. So I feel like it is definitely worth doing like this live. Oh no, the gang's got to Gemini. They'd be lucky. I've got nunchucks. Mono is adorable. He is. Mono is a cinnamon roll.
Mono is a cinnamon roll.
That's so cool. I had no idea Eddie was involved too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't think the kids can communicate because they're not from the same country. See, that's interesting as well, isn't it? So, like, all of the children that Noon met in the Nowhere all speak English. Even going so far as to speak with a British accent. Kinda. I need to check whether or not it's confirmed that Noon is British. Just because the performance from Kester Lovelace and Amy made it feel really like the entire thing takes place in Britain. But The Sounds of Nightmares was written and it was narrated and performed, in several languages. So I'm sure to them, Noon sounds Italian or Noon sounds French. And obviously when she goes to the Nowhere and speaks to the children in the Nowhere, they will also, presumably, speak Italian and French. So could it be that the Nowhere, once you get into it, forces a universal language upon the visitors? Because we know that kids can communicate within the Nowhere because Noon does it with Rusty and Jester and the other children that she meets within the Nowhere. And it always sounds like English, regardless of what language they speak. So yeah, the parcel tongue theory could very well be onto something. I like that a lot. Sorry, I have just noticed Fulcrum come into the chat, and I didn't want to be rude and not say hello. Hello, Fulcrum. Hello and welcome. I'm glad you can make it in. I think you're the only person I haven't said hello to yet. I didn't want to be rude, but we're doing this. I think the British accent could just be because there isn't a confirmed accent for the counties. Yeah, exactly. Because Britain isn't in the counties, or at least it's not canonically confirmed to be. So we're not sure. Let's read about the fifth deity. The four known eye symbols found printed on the bookshelves in the residence are thought to represent different residents called deities. All of the eye symbols have been found back so far in designs of big important residents. The eyes, however, look right, straight, down and up, but the left looking eye is still missing, with the Mirror Man having importance in Little Nightmares 3, but being the upwards looking eye. Could there be a much more important resident appearing in Little Nightmares 3? Yeah, interesting. See, there's a lot of links here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're missing one. Oh, we are missing one. Ooh. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. We're missing somebody. There's got to be a left-facing eye. Ooh. Well, I mean, there doesn't, but I hope there is. Those three eyes, those three of the eyes have books for the puzzle and are placed from left to right. This could maybe even represent the timeline. Right one is the North Wind, came first. Centre is the Broadcaster, came after, and left is the Lady. And Little Nightmares 1 is a sequel, so also came after. Yeah, okay. Everybody, thanks for listening. Got some to Gem, by the way. Oh, Mono will hit your toes! You've been warned! Mono is coming for you. And look at how menacing he looks down here with his little hammer. Little bad man on the... Guys, that was excellent. Thank you so much to Steph and his community for putting that together for us. I think there's some absolute gold in there, particularly with regards to the... well, to all of it, in fact. I'm only thinking about the most recent one now, and my mind is swimming a little bit because I'm really hungry and I need to eat before I go to work. That's why I'm sort of like drifting. So forgive me. I am going to put chat back on my screen and I'm going to read for the next 5 minutes and then I'm going to call it a day. So if anybody has anything left to say, then please make your voices heard now. And also, let's get some W's and some eyeballs in the chat for Step, Idiotic Bookworm, JK Mal, and the rest of their community for bringing us such an awesome end to the stream, because there was some solid gold to consider in there. Would you not agree? Whoop. What happened to my chat? There it is. Yes, big W's in there. So, are we putting Steph up to sacrifice? Yes, Steph, you've done such an amazing job. Thank you so much for your contributions to the stream. Now, get over here. Yes, Steph absolutely cooked. You all did. You all did exceedingly well. What if the ferryman is the missing eye? Puppy could be onto something. Could be the ferryman. It could be the eye. The missing eye could also belong to whatever feeds the spectrum's other end. Yeah, big W. Thank you, Alex the Frog. Gemini, have you heard of Indie Cross? It's a crossover between the indie games. It has 2 episodes out right now. Little Nightmares might appear in a future episode. I haven't actually, Eddie, but I will look into that. Indie Cross, interesting. Dr. Nightmare, hey Gemini, what are your opinions on my Little Nightmares project? Apparently Steph told you about it. He might have done, but, right? Let me message you, Dr. Nightmare. In fact, would you mind if I add you on Discord? Or would you mind adding me? Speak to Steph, get my Discord address from Steph, and let me talk to you about it in person if you would. Again, and I'll say this, you probably heard me say it earlier, it probably won't be today when I get back to you, just because I'll likely be foregoing any engagement on Discord for the rest of the night because I've got work in like 40 minutes and I've got to go eat before then, and I'll be at work for like 8 hours, so it probably won't be until tomorrow. But yeah, please feel free to reach out to me if you can. And yes, Katsy, I absolutely will be checking out your songs. Feel free to send me a message on Discord to remind me of the song as well that you put together. Thank you, Nightmare, appreciate that. What if Six is named Six because she was the 6th patient in the psychiatric hospital? Yeah, absolutely. That could totally be a thing. Saya, right, forgive me because I'm a bit of a Neanderthal when it comes to Discord, but with regard to my Discord Addy, I don't know which one it is because for me it just says Gemini. Steph might be able to help you out there. Steph, in fact, if you're still here, Steph, would you mind just let the Geminists know what they need to type in to add me on Discord, because I don't actually know how to send a friend request on Discord. I've never done it. Yeah, really looking forward to the Rec Room project. I cannot wait to see it, Steph. I'm really, really excited to go through to see that video. My one question is, if every eye symbol is supposed to reference a deity and there are 4 or 5 known entities, then what do the word-shaped eyes from the signal tower represent? Because there's more than 5. Ooh, is there? That'll be worth looking into, Steph. ANH, hey Gemini, there is a... Oh, sorry, yes, there is. ANH has just referenced F Vortex's cutting room floor for Little Nightmares. I got to check that out very briefly the other day, and it looked excellent. F Vortex has done an immaculate job of putting that together. You guys should check that out. In fact, go over to F Vortex's channel because it's linked in the description to one of their latest videos. Be sure to check that out because it contains a whole lot of stuff that theory crafters like ourselves will find invaluable when it comes to putting together theories and finding evidence to substantiate whatever your theory might be. The Veronica song is based off a Scottish children's song. Yes, it is. You know what's weird? I didn't learn that from Terrico. I learned that from Mama Gem. One day, I went to visit my mum, and she was in the kitchen cooking. This was years ago, before she got sick. She was in the kitchen and she was baking. She baked cakes. And I was just sitting there waiting to be fed, and I had my laptop open in front of me, and I was listening to the Veronica song, and it was trying to decode it, and my mum started singing along, and I sort of turned around, because at the time no one knew anything about the Veronica song, and it's actually a Scottish skipping song called Into the Valley. And it's not about Veronica or a storm or anything remotely close to that. But it was an interesting theory of It's Just George that blew up and got out of proportion. But she started singing it, did my mum. She started singing the actual lyrics to the actual songs. And there'll be a wedding at 3:30. And I just sort of turned. How do you know that? And she was like, it's a skipping song. My mum and her friends used to sing it in the playground, where you do double dutch. You get two people skipping with a skipping rope like that, and you jump over the rope and you sing that song. I was like, oh my god, the Veronica song isn't real. It's not the Veronica song. It's different. I know what it is. And I came back to I came back to YouTube, and I found it on YouTube. You can actually find there's a small video to it as well. You can find like Into the Valley on YouTube. It exists, but it's not the Veronica song. And I thought that was really interesting, and I couldn't believe that like Mama Gem figured out a Little Nightmares theory before I was a Little Nightmares theorist. Because this is before I really did YouTube or anything as well. Discord Addy feels so British. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't even know why I said Addy. Six is named Six because she's the sixth version of the lady that actually became the lady through Dark Six. That is a popular theory, Mr. Tibbs, and that is actually available to read. I've read it myself before because it wasn't my theory. It's on the Little Nightmares wiki. I don't know who came up with that theory though. I did credit Spill the Theories because Spill made a video about that about 3 years ago. But I don't know if it was her theory or if she learned it through the wiki, because the wiki doesn't credit who came up with it initially. And yes, Steph has put my username in there, Gemini540. If anyone wants to add me, if you've got anything to say, please feel free to do so and drop me a message. I am exceedingly slow to reply, as is evident by this stream. But also, I will try to prioritize you guys. You will get a response eventually. It just might not be soon. But I do take it seriously. I do take communication with my audience very seriously indeed. So, W stream today, Gemini. Yes, thank you so much. And 100% true. Thank you so much, Katsy. Very, very much appreciate that. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Has Mama Gem been to the nowhere? It's really weird as well. It's like my mum and her stories of her past are the reason why the nowhere resonates with me so well, because my mum she's lived through some like genuine horrors in her life that I won't discuss here. It's not my business to talk about publicly, but yeah, there's so much of it that I can relate to the nowhere, and the reason I find it so unsettling. There will be a Barbarian watch party in my server if you're more than welcome. Thank you so much, Steph. I don't know if I will, but you know what? I think I've seen it. I think I've seen Barbarian, but I wasn't certain, because last time when you asked me, I said I hadn't seen it, and then I saw that you were having a watch party, and I clicked on it, so I was interested. I was like, I wonder if it'll be on when I'm there, available to join in and watch with you guys. And I seen the picture, and I was like, oh, I recognise that. I think I might have seen the movie, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's really good. It's really good. I'm sure you know that. You'll probably seen it because it's not a new movie. But yeah, and if I do get a chance to stop in and say hi, I will do. But no promises, because I barely go on Discord. I use it as like an advertising platform and to communicate with channel members and VIPs or other content creators, but that's about it. The Veronica song is just the Little Nightmares sleeper agent activation. Oh my god, Karina, that's so good. That is so good. Geminem should drop some bars on a rap beat. What should I do? What bars should I drop? Should I say followers and you might make it alive, even though not many of us survive? Give me a hug, tell me it's alright. Whatever you do, just stay out of sight. Powerful eyes, watch all the time. Don't ever step in the light that they shine. We'll give you something for your appetite. The number 6 is the end of the line. That's that wasn't mine. I didn't make that up. That's from JT Music, and it's a Little Nightmares rap, and it's dope. And that's the bit that gnomes sing. So there you go. There's your bars for the day. Now, step. I'm going to close this poll. Who should be today's sacrifice? Congratulations, Step. Please bring yourself to everybody's attention with a nice big eyeball and prepare to be sacrificed. I'll watch my window for the morning sun. Yeah, the song is called Hungry for Another One. I know when it's over, I'll just be hungry for another one. Oh my god, Gemini cover Hungry for Another. What if I could sing? I mean, if I actually thought it would be a good performance, I'd do it, but I can't. So yes, Step, where are you? Goodbye, Step. I'll find you. I'm literally sitting here waiting for Step's name to come up again. There you are. You. I'm gonna do it publicly. Wait for it. Wait. You wait there, blood. There we go. No, not the ads now. Oh. Step, it's been an absolute pleasure knowing you. But you, my friend. What do you think? Shall I remove Step entirely? Or should I put him in time? I'm putting Step in timeout. Step, you get a 24-hour ban. You can no longer be a part of this stream. Do you have any last words? We need him for the theories. No, puppy, we don't. We've bled him dry, we've used him for all he's worth, and now I am going to use these theories, and I'm going to take credit for all of them. They are now my theories. They belong to me. Step, that is a very poor choice for last words, my brother. I'm giving you one more opportunity to say something meaningful. If you can give me one reason not to sacrifice your ass, then I might consider it. But for now... I might. Yep. No, I'm sorry, Step. The community have voted. The Geminists have spoken. Banish them, John. It's just John has spoken. Absorb his power. Yes, down you go. Boom. Message deleted by Gemini. Step has been removed from existence and drawn into the ever-expanding nonsense that is the nowhere. And one of you will be next, but not today. Congratulations on surviving for now, little ones. And thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much to Step for being a great sport and for having such a wonderful community. This has been brilliant. I've had a lot of fun, but I have to go eat and go to work. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. But that's going to do it for this time. So stay safe. And until next time, that's game over. Bye.